Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, we are live. Yep, we are live. All right, let's test the poll here. All right. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Trouble just walked in. Trouble is here early too. Oh, nice. Cool, you guys are hanging out today. Right on. Very cool. So, happy Tuesday, everybody. At the Denver Museum. Cool. Looking at evolution things. Nice. Very cool. I want to look at evolution things. Ooh, there was some stuff going on, and oh, that's just me and my video posts. Okay. So I was busy this morning. Today. All right. Well, that's cool. Well, maybe if you're able, can turn your camera on to some cool looking stuff. That's if you're able. No pressure. Keep this podcast running. I intend to. Hey, Sonny, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. I fully intend to keep this podcast running because I think discussions like these are important. As long as I'm able, I'll do it. And how was solstice for me? I'd say uneventful and cold. So I think that's what solstice was for me. All right. So let's get this going here. And we may have some special stuff from our esteemed mod Ember. If TikTok will cooperate.
Yeah.
Yes, it did it. I think it did it.
Is it not going to work? Hold on, guys.
It did it. I think it did it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is it not going to work? I can't see you. We have poor connection. We need to go over here.
Okay. That might be why.
I can't see you. Oh, there we are. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys there's like lots of feedback and
Let's see. Okay,
Oh, wait.
let's see if we can. Hold on, guys. Sorry, we're like trying to figure out. Oh,
hey,
hello.
hi, hello,
Oh,
hello. Look at
at the
that,
Denver Museum.
the Denver
Seeing all
Museum.
the evolution things, all the dinosaur things.
That's really cool. That is really cool.
Oop.
Gotta turn the
I
camera
meant
on.
to, yeah. I meant to turn the camera around.
Oh, turn it
Hold on.
around. Okay,
What am I doing?
give y'all a second.
Okay. Hold on. If I can. Sorry, guys. I'm acting like a boomer right now.
Oh, that is cool. Is that a
We have a
turtle?
giant T-Rex over
Oh,
here.
giant T-Rex.
There's one,
Oh, wow.
one large one right here.
Wow. Okay, that's not a turtle.
That's like a
What is that a sea?
Yeah,
Down that
and
way.
then the
Creature?
T-Rex is down here. Yeah, it's a sea creature. I don't know what it is.
wild. It's got like a long ass neck and a
Yeah.
body of a turtle. That's wild. That is wild.
And there's another one over here.
Oh, that's wild.
Yup.
That is
But
wild.
yeah, we just wanted to say hi
Hi. It's good to see you guys.
and hang out for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. We're real.
Right
Yes,
on.
yes,
You
we
are real.
exist.
Oh, I thought you were bots up until just now. So
Yeah.
you proved me wrong.
Yes. But yes, I'll get off now. We'll get off now.
Right
but
on.
it's good to see everybody.
It's good to see
and
you.
I'll probably be on later.
Okay, have
So-
fun, guys. Have a lot of fun. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Okay, that was cool. That was really cool. So glad they're hanging out. And some spam callers trying to get a hold of me, but we won't worry about them. So, how is everybody? Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. I am so far. Still waiting for my part to come in. I think it's supposed to be here today. I was hoping it would have gotten here before I went on today, but wasn't going to happen. So we're just going to have to slog on. It was a pliosaur? Plesiosaur. I believe you. I don't know. But that was really cool. So we got to see dinosaur bones. I love it. That is so cool. We got to see that. And welcome in, folks. So we're looking for evidence that God is just. I'm going to stay on this train for a bit before I switch topics. Okay, if you haven't seen the segment with Ox from Justin's Live Sunday night, you should really go listen. Okay, I will. I'll go take a listen. I was listening to Ian's last live. It was like almost 7 hours long. So he had a long live. Oh, H.E. Jonesy, you figured me out. I don't exist below the shoulders. Dang. I don't. You figured me out. So I'm just ethereal below the shoulders. 30 minutes. It's 30-ish minutes in. Okay, good to know. All right. So with Ox. All right. So I will go take a listen to that later today. I'll throw in my earbuds and listen to it while I make dinner. So something to look forward to. Thank you for that. Thanks for the heads up. Trust in a vat confirmed. Yep, I am in a vat. Jeez. I'm just a talking head. That's it. Shrugging shoulders. Headed over to you. Thank you, Civil V Science. PVS. Yeah, trust in a vat. You know, Zeno Padre, I might change my name to that. Who knows? Although I'm not really a solipsist, so I don't think it would be. If I were a solipsist, I might, but I'm not. Or, some other fitting like worldview. But I am a naturalist. So like a naturalist materialist. Oh yeah. You did see me in my onesie donating toys. Yeah, that's true. There was that. So maybe I only wear onesies. Maybe that's why. Atheists believe we come from monkeys. No, we do not. We do not believe we come from monkeys. That is a very bad straw man. Now, I gotta say, if we're gonna get the arguments down, at least get them down correctly. Address the arguments as they really are. Yeah, we don't? It's a scary thing about afterlife when we die. So serious question, where do we go when we die? It's a scary thing about afterlife. Not to me. Because for me, it's just, there is no afterlife. So, and that answers the next question. Nowhere. We don't go anywhere. Just it. Lights out. That's it. No eternity. This is it. Well, Bond, you have to address the question here first, and that's not relevant to today's discussion. But what's your best evidence that God is just? That's the question. So that's what we're going to address today. And thank you all for the gifts. Wow, we got lots of gifts to start out. Thank you all. Appreciate that. And people wanting negatives proven. Now, you can prove some negatives, but they are hard to prove. However, the burden of proof is on the person making the claim. That is true. So we're not, and it's a disbelief. It's not a not. I think it's not a conscious afterlife. I think we just become energy again. Maybe. And you know what? In a lot of ways, I believe that. We go back into the soil or wherever we go. We just kind of dissipate and we waste away, little bugs eat us, little bacteria eat us, or whatever. Microorganisms eat us up and we rot away. So in that sense, it's true. And food stamps in Section 8, there is the threat. We have our first threat of the day. Just remember that when it's your time. I won't be remembering anything when I'm dead. So unless you have evidence that we remember things when we're dead, then I may be more inclined to believe. If you have that evidence, demonstrate it, because I think I may be more inclined to believe you if you have plausible evidence. But until then, that's just a statement. That's just a claim. No evidence behind it. That's not a threat. How is that a threat? Because you're saying when it's your time, just remember what you said. That's a threat. And on top of that, it's an empty threat. You have no evidence of that. So demonstrate that we will remember things after we die. Hell or heaven, it's our choice. Okay. I don't think either is a choice. How do we know heaven or hell even exist? We have the Bible. That demonstrates God is just. Thought of an afterlife offends my life. So, yeah. I would say that, Batman. So, let's get to the question. What is your best evidence that God is just? Yeah, I'm not saying you can't believe in what you want. I don't see where you see anywhere that says you're not supposed to believe in what you want. So nobody's saying that. It's not relevant. What's relevant is evidence. So if you're here, I'm assuming that you have evidence, or you just want to talk in the chat, which is fine. You can do that. John 3:16. How does that demonstrate that God is just? So you got to explain that. Justice presupposes God. Exactly. So how can we demonstrate that God is just? So if justice presupposes God, that means God looks upon himself to see that there's justice. That's a circular argument. See what we got on the YouTube side. Oh, welcome, Torsten Phil. Thank you. Thank you for the membership. Appreciate you. You have the right to believe, and I have the right to point and laugh. Exactly. We do have the right to point and laugh, although I will ask. So, welcome, folks over on YouTube. You don't need evidence to prove God is just. Why not? You just accept it? Then if you don't have evidence, then God's not just. Is that what you're saying? God is just as evidenced by God is just. God is just as evidenced by God is just. Yep. And there completes the circle. We have ourselves a circular argument. Just because I said so. So again, answer the question to the script. What is your best evidence that God is just? I have tons and tons of evidence that exists. Atheists, you are going to wish you believe in God. Yeah. Another threat. There it is. All right, let's get me to 5,000 likes on TikTok. And I don't know if they do a like count on YouTube. Do they? Do they do that? Because if they do, that would be fantastic. Oh, I can start a poll here? Really? Okay, well, let's see. There is one waiting in the queue, but I'm waiting to get the 5,000 likes because that's what we like. So we have Kat who is waiting in the queue. So can you please tell me what is it to be an atheist? So what is it to be an atheist? That means just a person who doesn't believe in the existence of any gods. That's it. Just like if there was a name for not believing in Santa Claus, that's all that's all atheism is. It's just a word for not believing in God. So that's all that means. And thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. So what we want is evidence. There is a God, he's fired. There it is. I would agree. No, atheist is lack of belief. Yeah, it's the lack of belief in the existence of any gods. Exactly. Disbelief. It's like you don't believe in Santa Claus. You lack belief in Santa Claus. You lack belief in God. That's it. Moral law. Justice presupposes a source across cultures and eras. Humans recognize moral obligations. Yeah. And so how do you demonstrate what that source is? So demonstrate that. What is your definition of evidence? Look it up in the dictionary. That's what we're using, dictionary definitions. So you have a dictionary nearby, go look it up. And that's what we're going to be using. So prove to me that you exist. I think, therefore I am. I have hands. I interact with reality and the world. And you just asked me the question and I just answered it. So there's your proof that I exist. Now, demonstrate that your God is just. What is your definition of a God? A mind that created the universe. All right. So if you're in my guest queue, or if you're thinking of coming up to my guest queue, please be sure you're at least 18, that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and that you have evidence ready that your God is just. So we're going to take our first guest. So we got 112 people in TikTok. How's it going, Kat?
Hi, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't want to argue about anything for sure. I went from being, I guess, agnostic more or less. I thought I was atheist, but what was interesting to me I'd read the Bible. I'd been brought up in church. I just, really just didn't believe anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it became obvious to me that there were literally people that wear the number 666 on their heads and they call themselves jihadists and they want to end Jews and Christians, I started to wake up a little bit because I thought, how did John know this 200,000 years ago or whatever it was? How did he know that this was going to be here in these end time days? And also when people deny that they're end times, I'm like, well, the weapons aren't going to get any bigger. And I really am concerned about our country and our freedom. and the Sharia law stuff going on. That's really where
Okay.
I kind of changed my mind. So
How do
I'm just
we?
curious.
Okay, how does any of that demonstrate that God is just?
I think he's warning us to understand that the devil is real or the evil is real. And if the evil's real, how can the good not be real? I
Okay.
don't necessarily believe the spirit and how John wrote these things and how he knew them. Maybe he had other powers or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there a
But I
place
just,
where evil doesn't exist?
no, but at the same time, it's never pointed out the way it's so clear today from the
So
Bible. Like
there's
100 years ago, I don't think I would have
there's
believed.
mhm.
Even 20 years ago, I didn't.
Is there evil in
Today,
heaven?
I don't think so. If there is a heaven, again, I'm not saying there is or isn't.
Okay.
I'm just
So
saying, like here on earth, I'm just concerned with what is said and
okay.
projected.
Why would God create this world with both good and evil in it?
I think if there is a God, I think God gave us agency to think for ourselves.
Okay.
I don't think God is here to punish us. I think we have free will, and that gives people the right to be evil.
Okay. So
And
is
most
it
people that don't believe in God think they can get away with it, but I think they still have to live with themselves. And I know a lot of atheists who are much nicer than Christians, so I think more atheists have faith in family and things than Christians do,
does
just to be honest.
well does okay, so I kind of want to get back to that because it's kind of an important distinction here. Does God have the power to eliminate evil? But he
I guess he does if he's for real, but I don't think he will because I think he's given us the right to do it together collectively,
okay.
and we're all confused.
Okay. So what moral principle then,
Christianity
Kat?
mainly is confusing us.
Okay. Well, then what moral principle, Kat, justifies allowing suffering to happen when you have the power to stop it? Like, for example, a doctor, would you say a doctor is just like, if a doctor doesn't want to heal a patient, that they're justified in doing that if they have the ability? Oh, we got
No.
jellyfish. Okay. We have to move on to the next guest, but hey, thank you for coming up.
Thanks.
All right. So there's our first jellyfish. There it is. Boom. Cyber deconstruction. Wow. That was quick. Wow. All right. So that was fast. All right. So the doctor can't heal a patient. Okay. And that would be patently false because we have evidence that doctors can, that medicine can, science can. All right. Let's bring up Elizabeth real quick for a quick comment. It's a friend. And okay, Elizabeth's having trouble connecting, so we'll try another time. But all right, let's have evidence that God is just. We had another friend coming up. Hello.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How were those ketchup chips?
They were fantastic, and they're gone. So, yeah. So they were delicious. They were fantastic. It's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you have ketchup potato chips? Like,
Right?
It's a no-brainer, and tasted just like fries and ketchup, except like crispy fries and ketchup, like crunchy fries and ketchup. So yeah, lived up to all expectations. And then I can't eat them anymore because they have red dye in them. So that's a bad thing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. So if I find any like all natural ketchup chips, game on. Yeah. Game on. How you doing? How you been?
Oh, I've been okay. I'm getting over a cold and cough.
Oh, okay. Well, hope you feel better fast. Yeah. I hope you do.
Well, just wanted to touch base about those ketchup chips.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for checking in on that. I couldn't resist anymore. I know we were supposed to have like a live unveiling, but they were just sitting there, and all of like 2 days. And I'm like, okay, I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, no. I don't blame you in the least. Not at all.
So all good though, all good. But if there's any other taste test, yes, we'll set it up and we'll have it.
Have you ever had Nanaimo bars?
The what bars?
Nanaimo?
Nanaimo. I have never heard of those.
Okay.
Nanaimo.
Okay. Well.
Okay, is that the next one?
That's the next one, I guess.
Okay, well, let's spell it out in chat so I can look it up real quick, and we can make that happen.
Okay.
It's good talking to you, Philly. See ya.
You too.
Happy New Year. That is our friend Philly Red. Oh, and if you're not following Philly Red, please do. Philly Red is a fantastic content creator. Nanaimo bars. Okay, so we're gonna look that up. Copy. And we're gonna look that up real quick. Nanaimo bars. Oh, okay. Very promising. Oh, there's a recipe. Oh goodness. Okay. Jump to recipe. 1 cup of butter softened, divided. 5 tablespoons of sweetened cocoa powder. 1/4 cup of white sugar. 1 large egg beaten. 1 3/4 cups graham cracker crumbs. Oh, 1 flake coconut. Oh, okay. I think you got me. 1/2 cup of finely chopped almonds. 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. 2 tablespoons of custard powder. That's interesting. Okay. 2 cups of confectioner's sugar. Is that the powdered sugar? Or it's something in between? And then 4 1-ounce squares of semi-sweet baking chocolate and 2 teaspoons of butter. Okay. As in addition to the 1 cup of butter that's softened and divided. All right. And those look fantastic. Okay. Guess we'll be making those. All right. So I think what I'll do is I will make these and then I'll throw it in my Discord. Throw some photos in my Discord and we'll just see what it looks like. And we'll see how it tastes. Then maybe we'll do a live taste test. Yeah, we'll do a live taste test. Okay, I think that's the challenge. Game on. Let's go. All right. So let's get on to Justin Hester. How's it going, Justin? Doing well. I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah. That's much better. Okay.
I hope so. Yeah, so I've been watching your show here for a minute. And you're an atheist, is that correct? And you are an atheist because you don't see any evidence that would suggest for you to believe
that any gods exist. Before we move on, how old are you?
I am 35.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. Just had to make sure you met TikTok terms of service. And okay. Yeah, that is true. I don't have any, there isn't sufficient evidence to demonstrate that any gods exist. So which God do you believe in?
I believe Jesus is Lord.
Okay. And then what's your best evidence that God is just?
The fact that everyone will have final judgment day when they are on their way to the next stage in their, whether or not they're going to heaven or hell. So everything that we do in our lives will be ultimately accounted for. So it's not as if we're getting away with anything while we're here on earth, or if there's any deed that we're doing is getting us access. It's more so whether or not our lives are adding up and following Christ and having faith in Him.
Okay. Now that's a claim. How do we know that's true?
We don't know it's true in the sense that we don't know what happens when we die, but this is God's claim to us. That we have that assurance that nothing unjust will prevail.
Okay.
So He does tell us that.
Your connection is really bad right now. So I think can you stop for a second and kind of work on your Wi-Fi because it's really bad. It's very, very choppy on this end, and
hang on. Let's just try one thing here.
Yeah.
Here, is it better now?
Tell me when you hear my voice.
I'm gonna change over to my Wi-Fi instead of my. I hear you.
Okay, so that's about 8 seconds.
You seem perfect to me. So it must be me.
Okay. Well,
How
there's
about now?
there's about a 7 or 8 second delay, so let's try it again. Tell me when you hear this sentence.
It's horrible.
Okay.
Are you talking or just moving?
Well, I asked you to tell me when you hear this sentence. I'm trying to see what the delay is. So tell me when you hear this sentence. Okay. Hey, listen, Justin. Yeah, we're having some connection problems, and it's really hard to have a conversation when there's like a huge delay and it's choppy. So how about kind of work on your Wi-Fi and then come back in the queue when it's a little better. All right. So I'll drop you down and yeah, just come back in and when it's a little better. All right. And I'll bring you back up. All right. We'll go to the next guest and we'll see. All right. So oh, is that what it was, Rizzler? He was waiting for the next sentence. Like, tell me when you hear this sentence, and then I say the next. Okay. You know what I could have said? He was waiting for a new sentence. My bad. And maybe I should have said it like, let me know when I stop talking. Okay. I think that's what it was. All right. I'll say that next time. Let me know when I stop talking. Okay. So, well, $, I asked God for over 30 years to give me evidence, and God never answered. So, unfortunately, God put it in your lap. And if you're a Christian, first letter Peter chapter 3 verse 15 says you must provide a defense. So, you are obligated to defend your God if you're a Christian. So you don't get out of that. That's not an escape hatch. Is the Bible God-breathed? Comic News Now. Hey, Mr. Corcat. So, yeah, it says be prepared to give a defense. So are you prepared? And it says elsewhere in the Bible to answer questions. So, all right, let's bring in 3. How's it going, 3?
Hello.
Hi. How old are you?
Can you hear me good?
I cannot hear you hardly at all. So you got to
Oh,
talk way louder or get closer to the mic or change your mics or something.
um, hello, I'm 18.
Okay. Still very, very faint. So maybe change to a different mic, maybe turn off your Bluetooth or take out your headphones or something like that. Put in other headphones.
Is it still not good?
Yeah, it's really hard to hear you. Here, say something again because maybe I can turn up the levels on this end. Go ahead and say something again. I'll try to turn up the mixer on OBS side, but not much I can do on the TikTok side. So, oh, nope. Okay. They dropped. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next guest. How's it going?
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Doing well. Thanks. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Fantastic. All right. And which God do you believe in?
Yes, sir. I just came across your thing. So it says you're an atheist. You said what God I believe in?
Yeah. Which God do you believe in?
Currently, I am Christian.
Okay. And what is your best evidence that God is just?
Uh, God is just. I mean, I would go off of special revelation and just kind of in the nature character of God.
Okay.
That's how I would appeal to
How
certain
does
things like
All right.
this.
How does that demonstrate it? Because other religions have special revelation as well. So then that means all religions are true, right?
No, sir, not necessarily. And
Okay.
I would say obviously I don't know everything, and as a human being, I'm definitely finite in knowing everything. But I would say, and I'm always open to like other perspectives, but I would definitely say at least a belief in a God is more plausible for the justification of morality than not a God, because you don't have anything to root it in, and then everything else is just subjective, rape,
Uh-huh.
evil, etc.
Okay.
Um,
So there's nothing to ground it in? And what does that
yes,
even
yes.
mean?
If you're atheist, like obviously we go back to origins, right? Because the difference between an atheist and or a believer, whether you root your morality, ethics, etc., it all comes down to, do you believe that there's a God or creator? If your worldview starts with that nothing caused everything and everything was just a big cosmic accident,
Mhm.
then of course you have no ultimate justification for anything. But if you believe that God created it and God instilled worth, value, morals, he's the source of morality, then there's more of an objective way of justifying certain ideals like
Okay.
that. If that
So
makes sense.
okay, so what if I heard what you're saying that if you don't believe in a God, you don't have any morals?
No, sir, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm saying you don't have an ultimate justification for it.
You don't have an ultimate justification. And why does that
No,
matter?
sir.
Why does that matter?
I'm sorry?
Why does that matter?
Well, it matters because ultimately the person who's raping the little girl, I'm giving a gross
Graping.
example, right?
Please don't say the R word.
Okay,
Just say
I
graping.
apologize.
No worries.
Graping.
Yeah.
My fault. But just to give like a real world example, sir, you see someone who does an egregious act like that, right? And we build laws off of that, right?
Mhm.
We go off of presuppositions that individual has value and worth. But ultimately, if you start with a materialistic, atheistic perspective that human being wasn't created by God, there's no intrinsic value to that person. Then
Okay.
what does it matter? There's
Okay.
no objective, overarching
Okay.
reality to that.
So what would you say then? Because you're saying you're arguing against the materialist atheist, right? So what would you say to the idealist atheist?
I'm
And
not
how
too
about
educated,
how about the
sir.
rational
Could you-
atheist?
Yes, sir. I'm not too educated. Could you elucidate and just kind of differentiate
Well, these
between
are all
each one?
different types of worldviews. So you've got the rational atheist, you've got the realist atheist, you've got the idealist atheist, you've got, the Platonist atheist, you've got this, all these type of different worldviews. So you're arguing against one worldview. So what do you have to say against all the other worldviews?
Yes, sir.
Because you would have to demonstrate what you're saying against every single worldview. So do you realize the burden of proof that you've placed upon yourself?
Yes, sir. I definitely do, and I'm not trying to claim that I know everything, right? I'm just
Sure.
having a dialogue with another human being.
Yeah. But you're just making a
but-
lot of assumptions here. So
Yes,
how
sir.
are you assuming that I'm all that you say that I am? Like,
No, sir. And I apologize if it came off like that. What I'm trying to get at is generally, obviously, different atheists are not the exact same. You have some that are more materialistic, atheistic, like rationalistic, but there's still a common worldview in like the fundamentals. Would you disagree, or
no.
there's still an ultimate rejection of a God or God?
It's not a rejection of a God. It's at minimum, it's a disbelief. So are you saying then that if you reject Santa Claus?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying you reject Santa Claus? Or you just don't believe in Santa Claus?
Could you explain a bit more?
Well, because rejecting implies existence, right? Because you can only reject things that exist. So are you saying that Santa Claus exists and that do you believe in Santa Claus, first of all?
No.
Okay. So are you saying that you reject Santa Claus and implying that Santa Claus exists? You just deny that he exists? Or are you just saying you don't believe he exists?
I think I understand what you're saying, sir. Yeah. And I guess what I'm trying to say is in reality, right, a worldview, it has to justify metaphysics, ethics, and epistemology.
Mhm.
And all I'm saying is no worldview can and fully justify a coherent worldview for morals, ethics, epistemology,
Let's
truth, science.
all right.
Even the earliest scientists presupposed a creator God, natural law, natural order, the laws of logic.
Okay. Let's just say you're right. So I'll just grant your position. So we should be able to test whether or not your God is moral, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by test?
We can run a test. We can verify that your God is moral, right? And we'll use your own what you said earlier to do that. So you would agree we could test that your God is moral, right? It should hold up. Like if we apply a moral test to your God, it should hold up, right? No
Yes,
problem.
yes, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, I'm trying to get to the foundation of it, right? Because
Right.
we can get into ethical argumentation in regards to,
Well,
is God
I
just?
granted your entire argument. So I'm agreeing with you. So, but what I'm saying is I'm provisionally agreeing with you. And so what I'm saying is I'm doing the trust but verify approach. I'm trusting what you're saying, guest.
Mhm.
And so now we're at the verify stage. So like I asked you, we should be able to verify what you're saying is true, right? Not a problem,
Okay.
right? Easily.
Okay.
We should? Yes, no, maybe.
I'm sorry, sir. Like I said, I'm not too educated. Could you try to explain a little bit more thoroughly?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you're trying to explain there's no grounding in this, and I just said, hey, I'll accept your entire what you're saying. I'm trusting what you're saying is true. That we can't ground it without a God, and that without God there is no morality. I think that's your position, right?
yes, or
Okay.
ultimate justification.
Excellent, excellent. So what I'm asking then is we can verify that's true, right? That's my name, trust but verify.
Okay.
So I'm trusting what you're saying, and then we're going to go to the verify part. So we should be able to verify it, right?
Okay.
Right? I'm asking you, can we verify it?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And so you said, like, for example, grape. So without God, we would not know whether or not grape is right or wrong.
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry, you're cutting back, sir.
Well, I'm trying to understand from your point of view, because you brought up the example of grape, right? And so if I understand what you're saying correctly, you're saying that without God, without a belief in a God, that we can't verify whether or not grape is morally right or wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I guess just to I'll go a little bit more into what I was saying. Excuse me. I was saying, we both come with two different perspectives, two different worldviews to interpret reality, right? To make sense of what makes sense of the objective world we live in. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
So what I'm trying to understand then, how does belief in God determine that grape is morally wrong? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
I would say yes, obviously. You were saying, how does belief in God, I'm so sorry, sir, say that one more time.
How does belief in a God help us determine that grape is morally wrong?
How does belief in a God help? Okay, so again, sort of what I was appealing to, I'd say,
or how does the existence of God? Maybe that's a better way to put it.
Okay, so I would say, obviously, if you start with, and I'm gonna appeal to the Christian framework, right?
Sure.
So if you I believe that a creator created humanity and still created us in the Imago Dei, created us in the image of God. So that means every human being has intrinsic value, intrinsic worth for being human. Right?
Okay, wonderful. I'm asking you then, if we have intrinsic value, how does the existence of a God demonstrate that grape is wrong?
Because it goes against the character of God.
Goes against the character of God. Perfect. Okay, so we can test that, right?
I guess I'm having a hard time understanding. Like, what do you mean by test?
Which part of the question do you not understand? I'll explain it. Yeah, and I'm not trying to I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm trying to help you. So
yeah,
I'm trying to help you, like where it's not adding up for you. So yeah. So which part of it is not lining up for you? The question.
I guess what's your point, sir?
Well, I'm trying to get an answer to your
Like
question,
you
to the
said, you're
question.
saying how's it verifiable? I mean,
No, I'm asking, we should be able to verify that grape is against the moral character of God, right? We can verify that. Correct?
correct.
That's all I needed to know. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. All right. And so let's go to the Bible and let's verify that. So we should be able to look at the Bible and we should be able to easily see that grape is against the moral character of God. Now, while I do that, under what circumstances can you think of would it be inappropriate to grape somebody as a punishment?
Yes, sir. I get I guess you're trying to go at, and I'm gonna admit to you, I'm not too thoroughly familiar with the scriptures. I'm trying to get
That's fine.
better at it, but again, sir, what I'm trying to get at is like, you
Oh, did we lose him? You still there?
can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you cut out
Yeah.
for just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, my wife keeps spam calling me.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
no worries.
I guess again, like I guess what I'm trying to establish first and foremost is belief in theism, because then at least it's easier to go from theism to biblical Christianity.
Fantastic. Okay.
And so I guess like what I'm trying to say is giving grape the moral law and stuff like all that.
Mhm.
You as an atheist, is that stuff wrong? Is that stuff bad?
Well, of course it is. Now, but I'm asking
But
you,
why?
well, I'm asking you, we should be able to verify that. And that's what I want to do. I want to verify, like your claim that grape is against God's moral character. And we can do that, right? We can use the Bible to do that, right?
Yes, but if
Fantastic.
you're an atheist, like why is that bad? Like,
Okay. So
there's no ultimate justification.
well, I'm just
for it.
taking your words. I'm doing an internal critique here because you said that grape is morally wrong, right? And you said that grape is against God's moral character. These are your words, right? That's what you believe,
Okay.
right? You said that. I
Yes.
want to verify it. So because I don't want to put words in your mouth. So is that true or is that not true?
Okay, true.
Fantastic. Okay. So let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 8 through 12. So are you familiar with the story of David and Bathsheba? And also chat, this is a trigger warning. So just letting you guys know. So are you familiar with the story of David and Bathsheba?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Okay. So if we look at 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 8 through 12, God does give us a synopsis of what happens in verses 8 through 10, right? So basically, God gave David the kingdom and gave David his wives and the house of Israel and Judah, and David despised that and, got with Bathsheba, got her pregnant, struck down her husband Uriah, and, sent him into battle, knowing full well that Uriah would be struck down. So that's basically what it says here. And so in verse 11, can you see my screen? It says it right there. In verse 11, it says, "Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight." So it says here, I will take your wives and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. Now, do you agree or disagree that grape is schmexual relations without consent?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Do you agree or disagree that grape is schmexual relations without consent?
Correct.
Okay. So in verse 11, can you point out to me where the wives gave consent to lie with the neighbor?
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie to you. I grant you I haven't studied that text in its proper context, and obviously there's cultural implications to that.
Yeah,
And
we're studying it now. Yeah. So let's
so
just see where it says here that the wives gave consent. Can you point out to me where the wives gave consent?
as of right now, no.
Okay. So it's safe to say if somebody, so let's just say you said you're married, right? You have a wife. So if someone takes your wife and gives her to your neighbor, is she giving consent?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And if your neighbor lies with your wife in broad daylight, would you say that she was graped? Or did she give consent?
Graped.
Perfect. So it's safe to say here the wives were graped, right?
Okay.
Okay. And this is the judgment from God. So now you said that grape is against the moral character of God, but here is evidence right here, right in your face, that God actually sentenced the wives to grape, and this is to punish David. So I asked, so what moral principle justifies having a wife graped for the husband's infidelity?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm granting you, I'm gonna have to study that up. Um, but I guess like, what are you're trying to say? What are you trying to get at? Like,
Well, I think my point is that I think because you said that grape is against God's moral character, but we have an example here of God using grape. So grape is within God's moral character. Would you agree or disagree?
I would, I would still disagree just
You would
because
still
there's,
disagree. Okay. So if you,
yes,
all right.
just because I know that from some of the research that I've done,
Mhm.
there's a lot of cultural factors
Okay.
into that, in the way that it was written and
Is
whatnot.
okay. Is God's knowledge
But
eternal?
I would say so. Yes.
Did God know for all eternity that in 2026 grape would be morally unacceptable? Has God known that for all eternity?
I would say yes.
Okay. So why would then God consider grape acceptable in the Bronze Age if God eternally knew that in 2026 it would be unacceptable morally? So what changed between the Bronze Age and now?
Um, I would say at least the way that God worked in the Old Testament, and given the particular day and age with the customs and everything. Um, and I don't know the full context of that story. You know, with the same thing with people appeal to the quote unquote genocide of the Canaanites and stuff.
Yeah, it's not what we're
God's
talking about though.
justice and wrath was being poured out.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. And I'm not saying that's what you're talking about. I was kind
Yeah.
of referencing.
So are you saying in the Bronze Age so living in the Bronze Age justifies graping women? That's the moral. So what moral principle does that fall under?
Yeah, I have no clue.
You have no clue? Yeah. So I'm trying to understand what makes it morally acceptable back then versus now. I don't see the distinction here. Why does time matter?
Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to do more homework.
Okay. Do you want to see another example in which God morally accepts grape? Or because we had about a minute and a half left.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to Exodus 21, verse 7. Now, while I bring that up, can you help me understand under what circumstance is it appropriate to sell daughters?
Obviously none.
None? Okay. All right. So if that's true, so we have this verse here that says, this is Mosaic law. When a man sells his daughter, we'll just focus on that phrase. When a man sells his daughter. So if you can't think of an instance where it's morally acceptable to sell a daughter, what moral principle does this fall under that God is allowing the selling of daughters?
Wait, say that one more time.
What moral principle does this fall under that justifies the selling of daughters?
Hmm. I'm not exactly sure.
Not sure. Okay. Okay. So then if you're saying then that if God is the grounding of all morality, it sounds to me then it's acceptable to sell daughters and it's acceptable to grape women for husbands' infidelity.
Yes, sir.
Would I be reasonable to think that?
Say that one more time.
Would it be reasonable for me to think that if God grounds all of morality, then it's morally acceptable to grape women for their husband's infidelity, and it's morally acceptable to sell daughters?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's more descriptive than prescriptive.
I don't see how that matters. Yeah. Because I think, and the final question, because we're at 0, so I have to do the kick poll, but the final question I have for you is if God is morally grounding your objective morality, then you would agree then that it's objectively acceptable to sell daughters and it's objectively acceptable to have wives graped for their husband's infidelity, right? That's objectively acceptable.
Okay.
You would agree with that?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Again, going into the Old Testament, now the good question you asked me, which I do need to look into both perspectives, and again, I appreciate your perspective, is the one where you asked, I guess, if something was immoral according to God's nature back then, why isn't it immoral now? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have an answer rationally that I can give off the top of my head right now.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being honest. So let's go to a kick poll. So yeah, but I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate your cordiality too. So so for this guest, let's do a kick poll. So on TikTok, you guys know what to do. Happy face to keep the guest for another 20 minutes, or crying face and move on to the next guest. I don't even know if we have somebody else waiting, but
Oh
we'll just do it anyway.
I gotta go.
Oh, you got to go anyway? Okay. Well,
Yeah, my wife keeps spam calling me.
all right. Well, hey,
Yep.
I appreciate
Thank
you
you,
coming
sir.
up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I
All
was
right.
just scrolling on TikTok. Yep.
you got it. Have a good day.
You too.
So, yeah, I agree. I was kind of hoping that the guest could stay, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's just an easy W for wife answering wife phone calls. Yeah, see, that's respectable too. So hey, wife's calling. You got to go. You're still voting. Okay, I think we have a mod announcement. So we have our esteemed mod, Sunny. How you doing?
Good. I was going to try to do an announcement, but this is my first time, so everyone don't be too harsh on the judgment.
No problem.
I'm not Amber.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah.
So,
They are hard to
okay.
emulate. So I
I know.
totally agree, but I think you're going to do
Yeah.
fine. But
And they've like mastered it. Like
yes, they
they've been doing
have.
it for a while now.
Yes, they have. They have.
So, welcome to Trust But Verifies Live. We have 129 people in here, so we should not be at 18,000 likes. We need to keep tapping that screen. We need to get up at least to 25K in the next maybe 10 minutes. And let's see, there is a gift goal. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, did we already meet the gift goal? You need to change the gift goal.
Oh, I did. Okay. I will do that. Thank
So
you.
we have a gift goal, and if you meet the gift goal, we do an early kick pull. And then don't forget to send a jellyfish for an immediate removal. And am I missing anything? Oh, just keep sharing out the live and repost.
There you go. You covered all the bases. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sunny. I appreciate you coming up and subbing for Ember.
Yeah, hopefully I won't have to again.
Hope not, but desperate times
But
call
yeah,
for
they
desperate
are having
measures,
fun
right?
out there, it
Yeah,
look like,
they're
so,
having fun. Well, thank
yeah.
you for stepping up. That's very, very noble of you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
you.
problem.
All right. Enjoy your day. Thanks. All right. So that was Sunny. So everybody give W's to Sunny, all that stuff, because yeah. Gotta be honest, Ember is a tough act to follow. So I don't blame her for being a little nervous about that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just the tension point, right? So if God is the grounding of all morality, if morality comes through God, then all we do is we just look at a situation where we know something is wrong, and then we just see what the Bible says about it. And that's pretty obvious right there. So, and that's the tension point, right? That's the fork. So there's nothing there that says the wives gave consent. So if no consent is given, there's no consent. It's grape. That's what it is. So why is it that we have better morals than God? Because if there's no situation, because that's what the guest said, there was no situation in which it's appropriate to grape a wife for the husband's infidelity. If God is the grounding of morality, then anything that God does is good. Exactly, Larry. So then that means, and that's what I asked him. So that means grape is good. It's appropriate to grape wives for their husband's infidelity, and it's appropriate to sell daughters. That's what we should take from that, right? So, doesn't the topic question skip over the important part of determining fact from fiction? Well, see, the problem with that, Friday, is that a lot of Christians believe all of that is true. And even if it is an allegory, or it's an analogy, or it's a metaphor, however you want to put it, if it's not true, then using that as a justification, as Larry said, is still problematic. I agree. And Jose, yeah, because that's what the Bible says, Jose, the Bible says that God is all powerful and all knowing. So, and I asked the guest, is this God all knowing? And he said, yes. He said his knowledge is eternal. He's always known that in 2026, grape would be morally unacceptable. That's what the guest said. So I just use what the guest said. All right, we have a super chat. So let's go jump over to that. Okay, the super chat says, Herman Preet 13, I celebrated 20 years of deconstruction a few days ago. I do like a free days ago. But that's congratulations to Herman Preet. Good job. That's fantastic. Started at 14 and never looked back. I wish you guys all the best at reversing the brainwash. So according to believers, Herman Preet just wants to sin. So let's look at Herman in all of his sinful glory and say, fantastic. So great. I'm very, very happy for you that you've never looked back. So I'm going to click that. I know you can't quite see. I'm going to have to make this window a tiny bit bigger. So let me do that real quick. Let me just do that because I want to make sure we see the names, right? Yep. There we go. So that's what we have there. So congratulations to Herman Preet. Very, very nice. All right. So McTime, slavery was justified in Leviticus 25:44. Yep. And Jesus clarified the roles between master and slave in Luke 17:7. I call it miracle. Fake mayonnaise. Exactly. It's not even real mayonnaise. It's fake mayonnaise. They used to call it salad dressing when I was a kid, when I was young. And I was like, nobody put Miracle Whip on salad. Nobody does that. I still want to know if David's wife consented to more wives. I don't think so. I'm very doubtful. I don't see anywhere where it says that. What if a theist came to you and said that God is just, but he just can't make a better world? So if that's the case, then his God isn't a God then. He's powerless, then he's not worth worshiping, right? He can't make a better world. That means he's not all powerful. And on top of that, that may And then it depends, because if this God knew that he couldn't make a better world and created it anyway, then that would make that God unjust, because then you shouldn't do anything. They still sell salad dressing. Or maybe like a demigod, but a very limited God. But worth worshiping? I don't think so. All right, we don't have anybody in the guest queue. So guest queue is open. So if anyone would like to come up and give us evidence that God is just, I'm here. So your choice not to worship. So are you saying that we should worship something we don't believe in? How do you do that? You know what? You could show us, Albert. You could show us what it's like to worship something we don't believe in. You can demonstrate that for us. And then we'll follow your lead. So you can show us how it's done. Because I'm having a hard time understanding how anyone would worship something they don't believe in, worship a God they don't believe in. Wouldn't that be inherently dishonest? Exactly. Why would we worship what we aren't convinced of? Exactly. That doesn't. So, and then wouldn't a God know that? So you would lie to this God? You just pretend to worship this God for what? For what reason? People have rights to worship, not to worship they don't believe. Yeah. What I'm asking you, Albert, is demonstrate for us what it's like to worship something you don't believe in. Because if you made it that simple, then it should be like that. I will stop promoting mediocrity, Bible baby, when you stop promoting cowardice. How about that? And assholery. So, how about that? People have rights not to worship they don't believe. Believers have faith to God, I believe. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can be grateful in your life or without believing in a creator. I totally agree. You totally can. You can be totally grateful. Totally agree with that. Can you give a syllogism or logic to show morals are not mind dependent? Yeah, I can probably, I think I have something in my Discord. Let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. I think it's in the philosophy channel. Philosophy chat. I think I pinned it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I just made statements. I didn't actually do a syllogism, but yeah, you can find it. It's close enough. You can find it in the pinned messages in my Discord. So you can find it there if you want to take a look at it. But I don't really want to take up the live's time to do that because philosophy gets boring for people. Use it in certain situations, but I think it just like people check out and they leave. But all right, still no guests. So if you want to request up, come on up. So you just need evidence that your God is just, believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and be at least 18 years old. So that's all we need. And if not, just keep tapping that screen. Let's get to 50,000 likes and let's get to a bunch of shares. We need some shares too, because the goal is to get 100 shares on TikTok per live, because that really helps the algorithm. It brings more guests in, and we have more opportunities for conversations. And so and we're at 73 right now, so that's fantastic. If you know how, now you can do the one-off share, but if you long press, and I think Goblin Brain has got it down, but if you long press your entire friends list will come up, and you can share it to all your friends. So maybe you have a believer who has some evidence that God is just. So let's talk about it. I believe God knew he was wrong in Leviticus, but because he said to do it to the other nations, not my people. Perhaps. How to request. Tap the little blue and pink people at the bottom of your phone, Jose. All right, so we got 2 people who requested up. So just to verify, you have to be at least 18 to be up on a TikTok live as a guest. Those are TikTok rules, not mine. And please also be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and also have evidence that God is just. So Ruben user made it just ahead of Jose, so we'll go to Ruben. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
What's up, man? I'm 20 years old, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too. Yeah, thanks for requesting up. So which God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus, man. I believe Jesus is God.
Fantastic. And then what's your best evidence that God is just?
Well, God is love. He tells us that he loves us and that we're his children, that he made us in his image.
Okay.
So he tells us in the Gospels.
Okay. Now, Schittler loved his wife and his dog. So does that make Schittler just?
No.
Okay. So how does that make God just?
Well, can I ask you a question? Wait, I didn't get your name. I'm sorry.
Trust.
What's your name, man?
It's Trust. Yeah,
Trust?
you can ask me a quick question, but then I need you to answer mine. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question.
Of course. Your name is Trust. My name is Ruben, man. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Ruben.
Thank you for letting me talk to you, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming up.
So you're asking for evidence to prove God is just.
Mhm.
Can I ask you to, I guess, I don't want to assume, but can I ask you evidence to prove God is not just?
The Bible.
You're going to use the Bible as your argument?
Mhm.
Where in the Bible would you get that evidence from?
Oh, lots of places, but we can get there. But
Okay,
but-
we'll get there. Yeah,
we'll get
I would
there.
like to get there just to understand your point of view.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So now back to my question.
Yes, sir.
So how does God saying he loves somebody demonstrate that he's just? When we have Schittler who loved his dog, loved his wife, loved his family, we don't consider Schittler just.
Because God is love and he is just. And we've seen his acts of kindness and love and grace with the Samaritan woman at the well.
Mhm.
So, and we've seen it throughout with even the people that were paralyzed with leprosy, people that the Pharisees would not even treat to and that would look upon or look away. But Jesus himself went out of his way and seeked out those people to heal them, and they seeked after him. And Jesus was a real person in the Bible. Historically, even historians have proven he's a real person.
Okay.
So outside of the Bible, let's not even, say the Bible is not real, but Jesus himself is real. We know that to be a fact.
Okay.
Even
Let's not
Roman
drift off into
historians-
Jesus being real because we're not talking about that. We're talking about God being just, right? So,
Oh no, okay. I just wanted
I hear you.
everybody to know that Jesus is real.
Okay.
But
So,
we got anything about the Bible? Sorry.
yeah. Well, let me start with this question. So,
Thank you.
under what circumstance would it be acceptable to grape a wife for her husband's infidelity?
It would never be acceptable.
Never? Okay. So it would never, ever be acceptable, right? Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
agree.
Fantastic. All right. So now let's go into the Bible. Let's go take a look. So I'm going to turn your attention to 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 8 through 12.
Wait, you said what?
2 Samuel chapter 12,
Yeah.
verses 8 through 12. Oh, I got the other one up, chat. I'll change that. We'll go to that
Okay.
one in a second. But we're
Oh,
going
are
to
you
go.
talking about David and Bathsheba?
Yeah,
you are. Okay.
yeah, David and Bathsheba. So you're familiar with that story, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's a pretty well known story.
Yeah, it's a pretty messed up story, right?
Yeah, it's pretty sad, honestly.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Okay, so if we go through verses 8 through 12, we get the meat of what happened here. So,
Okay.
you said you're familiar with it, but yeah. So of course you know 8 through
Yeah,
10.
walk me through it.
Yeah. So 8 through 10 is basically where God is just railing on David, right?
Okay.
So God's railing on David, 8 through 10, and just pretty much summarizes all the bad shit David did to deserve this punishment. And then in verse 11, God gives his punishment, right? Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you, against your neighbor, within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. So you had said that, now, when you think of grape, you would agree that it is schmexual relations without consent, yeah?
Yes, that's
Okay.
by definition.
Fantastic.
Forcefully. Yeah,
Forceful, yeah. But it's without consent. So it may not even have to be forceful. For example, if somebody is passed out drunk and they can't
And
give
they have
consent,
sex, then that is definitely
then
wrong.
that is grape, right? So
Correct.
so it doesn't have to be forceful. It just has to be without consent. That's the line. So in verse 11 or anywhere in these 4 verses, can you point out where the wives gave consent to lie with the neighbor in broad daylight?
I don't understand the question.
Can you point out to me in these verses here that we're looking at on my screen where the wives gave consent to lie with the neighbor in broad daylight? Because it says here, I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. So God is saying, David,
Yeah.
I'm going to give your wives to your neighbor, and your neighbor is going to have schmexual relations with your wives in broad daylight. So I'm asking you to show me where the wives gave consent for all this.
Okay. Do you know who the neighbor is?
Oh yeah, we can get to that if you want, but for now,
Let's get to that.
I just want to establish. Well, first, we got to crawl before we walk, right? So I first want to establish if this was grape, where the consent was. Yeah.
Okay. I can't answer that until you answer this. Which honestly, but the way you're making it sound, obviously. But
it's not going to help you if I show you who the neighbor is. It's not going to help you. It's going to make it worse.
The neighbor is the son of David.
Yes, is the son of David. Yes, so you do know that.
Okay.
Okay. So are you saying then that
1 second, 1 second, Trust.
Okay.
Just 1 second. So David in this passage, correct, with Nathan. Do you know who Nathan is?
Yeah, Nathan is a prophet. And Nathan
that's
was
good.
passing along the message of God to David, right? So what I'm asking, but we're kind of getting we're kind of getting away from
this. It's kind of
things.
important. I want this. This is very important because I just want to walk down this path before we run. So let's walk down this path. David did a sin, obviously, right? You know what the sin was?
Of course, I know. It's he committed adultery and he had Uriah killed in battle. So he try and mask. Yeah. Okay. So he did two things.
You know more of the Bible than I thought.
Okay. So so David did all these things and now but so you did correct. Now hold on. Let's back up because you did say under no circumstances is it acceptable to have the wife graped for the infidelity of the husband. So I didn't even throw unaliving in there. I just said infidelity. But if you want to throw unaliving in there, that's fine. So are you still saying
for David? No, that's what David did. Yeah, David killed, basically had Uriah's death. Yeah.
Yep. And then he committed adultery with Bathsheba. So what I'm asking you, and then you had said there is no circumstance that justifies having a wife graped for a husband's infidelity. You're still on that, or do you disagree with that now?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
No. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I'll allow the dodge.
Do you know what sin is?
I do know what sin is. It's turning away from God.
No. I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, it's missing the mark. It just depends. It's missing the mark. It's turning away from God.
No, sin is just
okay. So
I guess.
All right,
basically.
Okay, so I'm still. But are you?
1 second, Trust. Yeah, 1 second. I'm just trying to make a point here.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm about to answer. I'm just trying to make a point. So if sin is that correct, is there consequences throughout the whole Bible? Have we seen consequences from our sin? Can I answer you that question?
There are consequences from sin, yes.
Throughout the whole Bible. Do we see time and time again?
Yeah.
Okay. So David sinned here, correct? Before the Lord.
David did sin before the Lord.
Brought consequences to him. And a consequence in this that the Lord said was because of this was that the why, because David was a how do you say the word polygamist? How do you say it? Polygamist?
Polygamist.
It's whenever you have multiple wives, wanting more than one.
Polygamist. Yeah.
Polygamist. Thank you so
Polygamist.
much, Trust.
Yep.
He was a polygamist. And this was not Thank you. This was not acceptable in God's eyes.
That's not good either.
God did not condone David having multiple wives. So
Okay.
God was also punishing him for that as well.
Got it.
And so his son in his own household rose. That's why David's household was messed up and cursed because of this sin. And we see in Psalms 32 that David is pleading and asking God for forgiveness and mercy. And we see in Psalms 51 that he's repentive and he's acknowledged to God that he's sorry. So this isn't necessarily saying that they're getting raped. No. We see later on that with his sons, this is just God saying this is going to happen. It's like God saying that, yeah, that's nothing wrong at all. It's like prophesying that Jesus was going to be born. Jesus was born, and prophesying that Mary was going to be a virgin, and she was a virgin.
Okay.
So this isn't not saying the rape at all. I don't understand where you're getting raped
It's
from.
you don't
Mr.
you
Trust.
okay. Did you okay? So again, I asked you to point out to me. We got way away from this. I'd like you to point out to me in the verses that we're reading right now where the wives gave consent. Just it's very simple. If you want to defeat that, just point out to me where the wives gave consent.
When they had sex with the son.
When they had sex with the son. Okay. So if we go to that passage, it will clearly show that the wives gave consent. The wives said, yes, son Absalom, we will have sex with you. That's what you're saying. It's going to clearly say that. Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes? It's going
I'm
to
gonna
say that?
say yes for the sake.
All right.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know the exact passage.
It's
I'm gonna look
2
at it right
Samuel
now. Yeah, you can
16.
pull it up for me, please.
2 Samuel 16, verses 20 through 25. So
Okay.
let's go read 2 Samuel 16. So let's look where it says exactly where the wives said, yes, Absalom, we will happily have sexual relations with you. Let's point that out to me.
Oh, this. Absalom, yeah. So.
Yeah.
sorry, your father.
So we should see something where it says the wives said, yes, we will have sexual relations with our stepson in sight of all of Israel. So just point out to me where it says that.
Well, it just says that he had relations with them.
It just said he did, but it doesn't say that the wives agreed, correct?
Does it say that they didn't agree?
Okay, so are you saying then that if a woman is passed out drunk, then it's okay to have sex with her because she did not agree, but she didn't agree either? It's okay. It's okay to do that.
No, but
No?
you're taking
So,
that and
okay,
saying,
so
no,
if
but
she-
you're
all right.
running, but trust, you're running with that and saying that.
Well, that's an instance. That's an instance of a woman neither saying yes nor no. You would agree with that, right? So what you're saying is if she doesn't,
that's you thinking
if she
that
says,
that's you assuming that it's a no.
all right. So what you're saying then is
That's
if
off the assumption. That's off an assumption.
no, I didn't say no. I didn't say it was a no. I said
It's
it.
not off of.
I said, is it?
No.
Hold on, Ruben. Hold on. I'm asking you, is it consent? What determines what determines consent, Ruben? When do you have consent?
Whenever both parties agree.
When both parties agree. Did the women agree?
Yes.
Where?
How do they not
Show where it says that
agree?
they agreed.
We've
Because
seen-
okay,
the Bible
what
talks about-
hold on.
Because they
Hold on,
they
Ruben.
had relations.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Okay. So what constitutes agreement? There's a
sorry.
specific
Didn't cut off.
definition for the word for agreement. There's a specific way you can describe that.
When two people agree on
Agreement
one thing.
when they. So would you agree
Is that what
that
you're trying to
okay? So, well, it's called the meeting of the minds. That's the standard that you use. It's called the meeting of the minds. So are you saying that the women had meeting of the minds here? So show where the women had meeting of the minds.
that they had a relationship with him.
Okay, that they have a relationship with him.
They were in the tent to begin with.
Okay, so what you're saying then is
And that they were in the tent
simply by
to
committing.
begin with.
Okay, so simply by committing the act, you're saying that they agreed.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well that's all it says here, that they committed the act. But
No,
I don't.
trust.
Okay, then I need you to point out to me, Ruben, where
okay,
it
trust,
says
but can I ask
they
you a question?
agreed. Nope. Until you show me where it says they agreed.
Can I
Show
ask
me-
you a question first?
after you show me where it says they agreed, specifically says I agree to have
When-
sex with Absalom.
When-
No. I need to hear the. I need you to
Trust,
point out to
we
me
know
where
the
they
Bible
said
talks
the
about
words.
the Bible talks about rape.
Grape.
You know,
It's
because you're
grape.
going off an
Hey,
assumption.
Ruben,
Wait,
you
before
have you
can't
cannot
even
use
get-
the R word
you,
up on a
you're-
live. You cannot use the R word on a live. Okay, if you say it again, I
Oh,
got to
I'm
drop you.
sorry.
You got to use the word grape. Okay, so
Yeah, that's
Alright.
fair enough. Fair.
okay, so I
I'm
need you to
sorry.
answer my
No, I didn't
question.
know that.
My question is, where does it specifically say that the wives agreed to have sexual relations with Absalom? Where does it specifically say that?
It does not specifically.
It does not
say
specifically
that.
say that. That means that they did not agree. They did not give consent. Therefore, it is grape. You have no ifs, ands, or buts. Hey, I'm trying to help you out, Ruben, because
Now, can I go?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Because I think you have a misconception of this, obviously, and your misconception is you're going off the assumption that the women were forced into the tent. Yeah, because you think
Okay.
that it's not just or anything.
You
because
said
because
that-
God said it was going to
all
happen.
right. You said that grape does
Wait,
not
Trust,
indicate
second,
force.
One second, Trust.
I
one
didn't.
second.
I didn't say they
Uh,
were forced. I asked you.
No.
Does all
I-
grape
I didn't
require
say that.
force? You said I'm going under the assumption. You just said it, Ruben, that I'm going under the assumption that the women were forced into the
What?
tent. I did not say that. I said, did they give consent? And
No.
you
No,
said
I'm saying-
earlier.
I'm saying
okay, hold on. Let
forced
me
to have
finish.
sex.
Let me finish. You said earlier that
Yeah.
consent specifically says agreement. Specifically says yes, and we don't see anywhere where they say yes here,
Mhm.
right? So again, the analogy is
Okay.
if a woman is passed out drunk, she doesn't, and if you ask her while she's passed out drunk, hey, you want to have relations, and she doesn't answer, does that mean you have consent? Because she didn't say no.
No.
Okay. So we don't have anywhere here where they didn't say, because she didn't say yes either. And that's how you know you don't have consent. So we don't have anywhere here where they said yes. Do they? Do we?
Okay. Can I ask you the same question? Do you have anywhere where they say no?
No, there is nowhere they said
Do you have any
no.
indication in this verse?
And that means that they did
Okay,
not
okay,
give
okay, okay. So
consent
what gives you
because to
Yes.
give
Wait,
consent,
Trust, one second.
I'm asking
Well,
your,
okay,
I'm
okay,
answering your
okay.
question. To
One-
give consent, you must say
Okay.
yes. No ifs,
But
ands,
I
or
just
buts
asked you,
about it.
Yeah. Okay.
No ifs, ands, or
Okay.
buts. So I'm trying to
Yes,
save
Trust.
you from
Okay.
doing 15 to
Okay,
20,
Trust.
all
Okay.
right? Or 3 to 5 in state prison. Because if
No,
this is important.
I literally read that.
All right. So that's why I'm asking you. That's what consent is about. You have to have consent, which means you have to say yes. So here's another way to put it. Here's another way to say it. Do you have a car? Do you own a car?
Yes.
Okay. Do you own a car? Okay. So
Yes.
if somebody said, let's just say you walked outside one morning and your car was gone. All right. And you call around and ask, hey, where's my car? And somebody says to you, and one of your buddies says to you, well, hey, Ruben, I sold it. Now, what would you say to your friend?
Say that he took my car.
Yeah, you took my car. And
That he stole my car.
yeah, he stole my car. And he said, I didn't steal it. I didn't take it from you because you didn't say I couldn't sell it. So I sold it. Is he right or wrong? Because you didn't say no, right?
He's wrong.
Yeah, you didn't say no. He just said, but Ruben, you didn't say no. You didn't say no. So I
Mhm.
sold your car. So did he have consent?
But wouldn't that person know that it would be wrong?
Let's answer my question. Did he have consent? Did he have your consent to sell your car? If
No.
he said, no, he didn't. Because
No.
even though he said to you, but Ruben, you didn't say I couldn't sell your car. You didn't say no. So I sold your car. So you didn't have consent. So using that, we can say Using that same thing. So just because the women didn't say no, does that mean they gave
That's a
consent?
straw man. That's a terrible argument. That's a straw man argument. It's not
How
a
is
good
it a straw
argument.
man?
Be-
It's not a straw man.
because it's you're indicating
It's not a straw
because
man.
you're indicating something that is it's not the case at all.
That's not a straw
It
man. That's
is.
an incorrect.
You're-
That's
it's-
a category error. It's not a straw man. What's a straw? Define a straw man.
Well, wait, what did you say?
Define a straw man.
It's like a logic. It's fallacy. Like it misrepresents. It exaggerates like what I'm talking about.
That's not what a straw man is. No. It's not what a straw man is.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's like a logical fallacy.
It is a logical fallacy,
What's a straw man?
but that's not what I did. What I did was an analogy because it explains what consent is. So consent is getting permission from somebody, getting agreement from somebody, right? And so you would agree. Now, is grape, is that taking somebody's body without permission?
Yes.
It is. So it's the same as your friend taking your car without permission, correct?
Okay, so a car and a person are the same. Okay,
Nope.
there we
Didn't
go.
say that at all.
That's what I'm saying. It's very different. Okay, one
Didn't say
quick
that at
question.
all.
Well, yes, that's the analogy.
Do you have
used comparing
autonomy
a car
over
and a
your?
person.
Do you
But it's
have
the
autonomy?
analogy.
Do
But
you
just
have
said it's an
autonomy over your
analogy, not a
car?
straw man.
Do you have autonomy
Yes,
over your
that's my
car?
point exactly. Trust.
Do
Okay,
you
there we
have
go.
autonomy over
Trust.
your
Now,
car?
Trust. Can I ask you a question now?
Do you
Trust. You've
have
been asking me questions this entire time. Can
Yeah.
I ask you a question?
after you
that
answer
fine?
this set of questions? Because do you have
Okay, I can ask you a
autonomy?
question.
Hold on.
Okay, so after I
Do you? Yep.
answer
After
this question
after,
right here,
Yep.
I can answer. I can ask
Yep.
you a question.
It's a two-part question. Do you? Part one. Do
Just
you,
want to make sure.
okay. Yeah, you can.
Oh,
Part
so
one.
two-part. So I answer the next two questions. I can ask you one question.
So it's a two-part question, which means it's one question
Okay,
with two parts.
ask me the question.
All right. So part one. Do you have autonomy
Yes.
over your?
Okay. That means two questions, correct? That means two questions.
No, it's a two-part question. Kind of like a two-part episode. It's
Oh,
not
that
two
means not two.
episodes. It's a two-part episode. It's one episode cut into two parts.
But when
So this is a two-part question.
You've been asking me about. You've literally just been walking me down this, and I've yet to have. I've just been answering everything. Like I've yet to even
I've answered your
rebuttal or
questions.
say anything. It's just been
I've answered your
no,
questions. Okay.
okay.
Let's- all right,
No, you have. But I'm saying like I want to say something like.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting.
Fantastic. Okay. So two-part question.
Okay.
Part
I'm
one.
sorry.
Do you have autonomy over
Okay.
your car?
Yes, sir.
You do. You have autonomy over your car.
Yes, I have control.
Fantastic. Does a woman have autonomy over her body?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So then you would agree. Well, I'd said two questions. So I'm going to make a statement. So then you agree that taking your car, since you have autonomy over it, is the same principle, same concept. It's not a car and a woman are the same. It's the same concept as taking a woman's bodily autonomy without her permission. That's what you're agreeing to. Okay. What's your question?
No, the only reason why was the only reason. No, I would say no, and the only reason why, because if my friend sold my car and he sold, like, let's say my girlfriend or something like that, I would be more upset that he sold my girlfriend than he sold my car. Obviously, that's why I don't compare them. I don't see them as a comparison at all. But now to if I can ask you a question,
Yep.
is do you not believe in God at all?
I do not believe in God at all. How is this relevant to our discussion?
Okay. No. It's the question because it actually kind of explains a little bit of why you believe in, like, against the Bible, obviously, right? Because I guess I'm coming from a point of view, and you're coming from a point of view as well. You know, we're both coming from a different point of view,
Okay.
obviously, right? And you believe you're right, and I believe I'm right, obviously, right?
Okay.
Obviously. And so I'm asking, if you do not believe in the Bible, right? If you don't believe in the Bible. That was the word of God, obviously. I believe the Bible is the word of God, the divine
Okay.
word of God. You don't believe in God at all. Then can I ask you a question? Where do you get your morality from as a person? Where do you get where you're saying is correct and what I'm saying is wrong? How can you say I'm wrong just from the evidence and just you saying this? Because
Nope. But
I don't understand where you're.
well, if the
What?
chat decides to keep you, I'll answer the question. Because that's a long discussion.
Wait,
So
what?
if the chat decides to keep you, we're up against the kick pole. But I can tell you this, definitely not from God. If God grapes women for men's infidelity, I do not get my morality from God. Definitely not.
But where
Okay,
does it say God rape women? That's what I'm
let's.
trying to say.
God allowed the rape of
I don't
women.
understand where it says.
Well, because you don't think that's grape,
No, he did
and
not. Where in the
and
Bible does it say?
and what I would suggest to you is that you read up on consent, because if a woman doesn't say no, that doesn't mean it's okay to have sexual relations with her. So that's the whole point of
No,
this.
but trust you're.
All right. So we're going to start the kick poll. So
But
everybody,
trust
we have a kick poll.
you're
Hold
reading.
on, Ruben. Hold on. We got to start the kick poll. So, all right, everybody, kick poll time. Happy face to keep Ruben for another 20 minutes, or crying face to move on to the next guest. And we're going to get YouTube involved in this as
That was
well.
20
So,
minutes.
so let's go. Okay, let's.
Prepare to be kicked.
All right. Keep Ruben. All right. We're going to start the
Guys,
poll on
give
the
me 20
YouTube
more
side.
minutes, please. I haven't yet to talk.
All
Please,
right.
please,
We got the
please,
poll
let
up.
me
We got the
talk.
poll
Let
up for
me
YouTube.
talk.
Okay, everybody on YouTube, vote. Your vote counts too. There's a poll up. Oh, 80% no. Ooh, that's not good.
Wait, is it crying? Is it crying face? I'm gone.
Crying face means no. You're gone. You're
It's
kicked.
oh man, I'm gone.
All right, and it's 82% no on YouTube.
Well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Trust. Can I say one thing before I leave?
Can you say one thing?
okay,
Yeah, you
before
got
I
about
leave.
13 seconds. Make it fast.
Okay, I just want to say, Jesus is true. He's alive. There's an afterlife after you die. We are not made of particles. Believe there's fine tuning for a reason.
All
God is
right.
real.
Well, thanks for coming
And,
up, Ruben.
God, there's no
I
rape in the
appreciate
Bible.
you.
He's trying to say that there
All
is
right.
rape, but
Have a
there's
good day.
no rape.
All right. So, Second Samuel remains undefeated. You have to deny reality to think that David and Bathsheba were not raped. So 75%, it was 75% on the YouTube side. I wonder if I can show this. Can I show this in the chat? I don't know if I can. So let's see if I can. Yeah, it was a landslide. So 43-15 on the TikTok side. And okay. Yeah, and I might have screwed up the window. So hold on. Yeah. It only puts the poll at the very top of the window, so you guys can't see it. But yowza. 29 votes, 76 voted no. I am loving this kick poll. Yeah, see? YouTube, you're finally involved. How does it feel, YouTube, to no longer be just like up in the rafters, up in the upper seats? How does it feel? Does it feel good that you're like part of the live now? And I've been kind of tossing around like what I would do if YouTube is part of it. We're all one big happy family now. Yeah, exactly, Dan Blackroyd. And when I get my part in, YouTube will be able to see TikTok's chats. So everybody will be able to see everything. And that's what the whole thing is. Louis Luggage, 2 Samuel, it's first you want to go to 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 8 through 12, and then 2 Samuel chapter 16, verses 20 through 25. Nowhere in there does it say the women gave consent. Nowhere. Not any place. Yep. YouTube, TikTok, finally. Yeah, YouTube and TikTok. It's like peanut butter and chocolate, right? Chocolate and peanut butter. I actually prefer being in the upper seats. I don't like crowds. Well, you got a vote button now. You can still be in the upper seats, and you have a vote button. So, okay, we still have only one super chat. All right. But yeah. So wait until you see the chat from YouTube can see TikTok's chat. TikTok can see YouTube's chat. Yeah, he said I used a straw man. That is not what a straw man is. He tried to say it's a logical fallacy, but it's not. It's not a category error. I was comparing The analogy was comparing concepts, not people to cars. Wasn't saying that because it's bodily autonomy of a woman versus versus the autonomy of a car. A woman owns her body. A person owns their car. So I'm not saying cars and bodies are equal. I'm saying the ownership of. It's the ownership. Well, even then, even 2 Samuel 13, verse 12. So still. And that is actually pretty disappointing when even women don't know what consent is. All right. So, but 2 Samuel 12 remains undefeated. That's what it is. Mott and Bailey fallacy. They are allergic to hypotheticals and they get a rash from analogies. YouTube is seeing YouTube chat. Yeah, it's technically circular. Yeah, you're looking in a mirror, but the way it'll work is that everybody will look in their own mirror. Everybody will see everybody's chat. So yeah, we're gonna bring up a different scripture. So there's plenty of them, right? Plenty of grape scriptures. Plenty. So I'll bring up a different one. I have to go through my list. So let me get my next one ready, huh? Let's get one ready. Because if we're talking about God being just, and it's just really, really interesting to me that we can just struggle with this because it's pretty clear. And on top of that, the other part I didn't get into, chat, is that the women were concubines, which means they had their choice taken away. So by default, they had no choice in the matter. They were concubines. So since Absalom took over the palace, they had no choice but to have relations with their stepson. So I didn't even get into all that. Didn't need to get on all that. All you have to do is just focus on the consent part. All you got to do is just focus on, did they give consent? Did they? They did not. So yeah, but you're right, Dr. Joe. We do need variety. We definitely need variety. Okay, so we have Jose and Whitey waiting in the guest queue. And we'll get to Jose next. Isn't most of religious text always from a male perspective as well? Yeah, it is. Almost all of them. I think the ones from a woman's perspective, those typically get run over. Let's see, what is it? Jeremiah 24? I think that's what it is. The matriarchal society gets wiped out. I think it's Jeremiah 24. I have to look it up, but that's an interesting one too. Okay, so let's get to Jose. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good. Thanks for waiting. How old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Okay. And which God do you believe in?
I'm sorry of my pronunciation. I'm not a native speaker.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
That I'm sorry for my pronunciation. That I'm not a native speaker.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. If I just stop and listen, I think I'll be okay. So, Jose, which God do you believe in?
I do not believe in a God. I am atheist, but I wanted to bring a quick argument if it's possible.
Very fast, but I prefer to talk to people who believe in God, but I'll give you a couple minutes. So make it really fast. Yeah.
This is under the pretense of a God being either non-powerful or non-all-knowing, and that this God could be just, but he couldn't make a better world either because he's not powerful enough to make it or because he doesn't know how to make it.
Yes. Yes, I remember you saying that in chat, and I think my response was then it would depend what this God knows, right? So if the God knows before creating that this would lead to suffering or unjust situations, would you say this God is just or unjust?
I would still say it's just based on the pretense it's also egoist as us because maybe it doesn't want to be alone.
Okay. So is the God's need to be not alone, is that more important than creating people to suffer?
I don't know. I guess for me, the would. I really don't like loneliness.
Okay. So that would be the tension point for me right there. Is it more so if would I create beings to not be alone if I knew that they would suffer? I don't think I would. I don't think that's moral.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's the argument I wanted to make.
Okay.
Thank you, Mas.
Hey, thanks, Jose. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I don't think that. I saw the word narcissistic in the chat somewhere. There it is. Happy futurism. Yeah, I would agree. That sounds very narcissistic. I would not create beings knowing that they would suffer just so I wouldn't be alone. That's immoral. So I would say it like that. Now, if I knew that they would suffer, that's the other part too. I would agree that I'm a bit of a narcissist. Okay. Well, at least you're honest. You're nothing else but honest, but nothing if not honest. But I would say that if you don't know that they will suffer and you think things are going to be okay and you don't realize it, well, then you're just a creator. I don't know if you're a God, or maybe you are God, but I don't know if you would be immoral. However, if you stand by and do nothing and you allow them to continue suffering without trying to at least minimize the suffering, then that makes you immoral as well. So if you create not knowing that these creatures will suffer, and then you don't do anything to minimize the suffering, you don't do anything to comfort them or anything like that, then that would be immoral. So that's how it is. It's not even moral, it's instinct. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. If you're not like, what? 70, 80 people in the YouTube? Are you kidding me? That's wild. Well, welcome, YouTubers. Welcome, welcome. All right, let's bring up Whitey. Well, let's give him some people to talk to. How's it going, Whitey?
Hey, brother.
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 26.
All right. And which God do you believe in?
The God of Abraham, Isaac.
Okay.
Moses, Joseph.
Got it. All right. And what is your best evidence that this God is just?
Well, because your morality is subjective, that we may have a different opinion of what is just.
Oh, how do you know my
But I
morality?
think-
How do you know my morality is subjective?
Well, we all have subjective beliefs and opinions.
Do we?
And
Well,
what-
beliefs
what
and
you
opinions,
define-
but not morality.
Well, I would say your morality is
How do you say that?
subjective just as mine is, but
What-
there
What's your,
definitely is objective morality.
okay. What's your evidence that my morality is subjective? Because you've talked to me all of 25 seconds. So how do you know that? Or a minute and 6 seconds.
Everyone
excuse me.
has subjective beliefs, and
Okay.
those beliefs can be moral or
Well, those are
based
beliefs,
upon
but
moral
not
premises.
Okay, so
morality.
morality equals beliefs?
I think how you act upon your beliefs is what determines morality.
It's how you act upon your beliefs. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And so you can now, could you act upon your beliefs? So you're saying acting upon your beliefs in no way makes you objective.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay. So why does that matter then? I'm trying to understand, like,
Well, because it matters because you're supposing that a God enabling suffering is immoral.
Okay.
And I don't think that's the case. I think that if there is suffering, that is just the deprivation of the free will that the individual is experiencing.
Okay.
And that is not immoral. That is perfectly moral in the confines of what God's system he created.
Okay.
And if I think that a lot of people dislike suffering. I think that suffering makes us better, and it allows us to build empathy and remorse. And I think that without suffering, we'd be worse off.
Is all suffering good?
I think that you can find good in all suffering, but I don't think that
Is all suffering good? Because I agree. You can find good in suffering, but is all suffering good by default?
Well, in the eyes of your subjective morality, I would say that no, all suffering is bad. But in my eyes, I would say that all suffering is necessary, which would make it good.
Okay, so all suffering is necessary. That makes it good. So we should be able to test this, right?
Right.
We should be able to test this, and you should come out on top, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's imagine a fawn in a forest. So if you know anything about fawns, they just sit there when their mother goes away, right? When the doe goes away. And let's say lightning strikes the forest and lights the forest on fire, and the fawn is surrounded by smoke and flames.
Right.
And there's no way to get to the fawn. It's going to die. Now, would you agree that that fawn is going to suffer before it dies?
Yes. I don't think you asked me where the good came.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to establish if you believe that this fawn will suffer before it dies.
I think we can both agree that it was suffering.
Okay. And so how is that fawn suffering in that way necessary?
Well, it's necessary to the environment and to the
how so?
Well, if things didn't die, then how would we eat anything?
Sure. Who's going to eat that fawn when it's all crispy and shriveled up?
I'm sure a billion different insects.
Okay. So you're saying then that the insects could not eat in any other way, that the fawn has to burn and
they could eat
die
vegetation too, but then the vegetation would be suffering.
Sure. So that's not what I'm asking. So I
don't know what you're asking then.
What I'm asking then is, because you say it's necessary, which means that there's no other way.
Obviously.
Right? It's necessary.
No. I never said there's no other way.
Okay. But you said it's necessary.
In this universe, obviously it's required.
So, okay. So you're saying then that the insects and other animals that would later feed off this burned carcass would have no other way to feed. And that's why it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how else? So is that the only way that insects and other animals feed, off burned carcasses?
No.
Okay. So they eat in other ways, right? So they eat, like if the fawn dies of natural causes, if the fawn, gets taken by a bear,
but
and
if the
leftovers.
fawn died of natural causes, what's to say that it suffered more or less?
Yeah. But what I'm specifically going with is, what is the point of this?
What you're trying to prove is that suffering is not necessary.
I'm not done. Hold on.
I don't know how.
Hold on. I'm asking you why that specific situation, a fawn dying in that manner, is necessary. Why is that fawn dying?
It could die in any
manner?
manner. It's still necessary.
I'm not talking about the dying. I'm talking about
you're going to die.
I'm talking about the manner in which it dies. Why is the manner in which it dies necessary? Because that's the suffering part. You're focused on the dying part. I didn't say dying is not necessary. What I'm saying is the suffering.
You're focused on if it suffered more or less.
No.
Right?
I'm focused on the suffering itself.
I don't understand then.
Okay. What I'm asking you is,
do you think all death is peaceful?
Okay. We're talking about two different things. What I'm asking you about is the suffering. I'm not asking about the death. You would agree that death and suffering aren't exactly the same, right?
I would say that you don't agree with that.
Okay. I'm asking you. So
yes.
Yes? Perfect. So death and suffering are not the same. Okay. Yeah. So I'm asking about the suffering. I don't know why you keep talking to me about death. I'm asking about suffering. So so what I'm asking you is the suffering. Why is the suffering necessary? The suffering, Because you're talking about the
Mhm.
death of the fawn. I'm asking about the suffering of the fawn. Why is the suffering necessary in that situation?
The suffering is what happens when you end up becoming deceased.
Okay, I
That's
didn't
just
I didn't
what
ask about
happens.
I didn't ask about what happens. I asked why it's
Yeah.
necessary. Because you would agree that, because we already said that death and suffering are two separate
Well,
things.
if I'm
Would
the
you
creator, yeah.
would you
If I'm the creator, and I'm designing life, okay, that life is like, we have sensory, and those sensories can be deprived of what feels comfortable. Okay, depending on your what you qualify as suffering, there can be a multitude of things that can be suffering that you know is actually necessary for all existence and for all creation.
I
So
don't know what any of that means. I'm lost.
what is suffering?
What is
Like,
suffering?
how would you define suffering? Yeah.
Okay. Is it because you don't know what suffering means,
No,
or
no, I'm asking how you interpret
the dictionary definition of
how
suffering?
how can you determine something as suffering?
It's the dictionary definition. So it's
Mhm.
it's undue distress or hardship.
Mhm.
So would you say that
Yeah.
that fawn is undergoing distress and hardship?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm asking
Mhm.
you, why is that necessary? So could that fawn die without distress and hardship? Is it
No.
possible? You're saying it's not possible for any creature to die without
I guess, yeah, if you
distress or
put it
hardship.
down using medicine or a certain,
So it's possible that
yeah, if you give
a
it
creature
morphine.
could
Yeah.
die without distress or hardship.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So if that's the case, why is the fawn dying in a forest fire necessary?
It's
Because
necessary for
why is the
the
suffering
earth to
necessary?
function. I don't understand.
So the
Where the
suffering, so
dilemma
the
is.
suffering is, how does the suffering make the earth
Every
function?
species in that sense is suffering.
Right. How does,
Yeah.
but we already said
And
that,
I'm saying that suffering is necessary
okay,
for this world to exist
if a fawn falls off of
with
a
life on
cliff
it, I
and
should say. Yeah.
if a fawn falls off a cliff and breaks
Mhm.
its neck and dies instantly, is it suffering?
Mhm. No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
So it's possible then to die naturally without suffering. So
Well, I think it would be suffering for a very short period of time while it's falling to its death.
okay.
You know.
Okay. And so it would be suffering for a very short period of time. So you're saying
Right.
that then there's no situation in which a fawn could die without suffering. It'd only be through
I think
medicine, as you said.
unless you have some human intervention.
So only human intervention. So there's no situation it will die instantly.
I
So
don't think
gets hit
any
by a
death
car,
is null of suffering. No.
it's null of suffering. Okay. And so why is that necessary then? Could God have created a world without dying through suffering?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
the afterlife.
So why is it necessary?
Eternity.
And why is it necessary? Why
Well,
is it? Yeah.
Because all energy in this universe, or I'm sorry, all living matter slowly degrades, and within that degrading is the deprivation of your body.
Okay.
And your definition, within your definition of suffering, it is, and this is your definition, not mine, we both agree that within this universe, you're going to have life and death, and deprivation is a part of that natural process.
Okay.
And therefore it's necessary.
Okay.
And but I
How
think,
is it necessary? The deprivation of process is necessary, or is suffering?
unless you're going to be eternal on this earth, then I would say it's very necessary.
Okay. So what you're saying then is if you don't live eternally, you suffer.
If you're not in heaven living in an eternal afterlife, then yeah, you're suffering.
Okay. So then God created a place where there's no suffering.
Right.
So again, why is suffering necessary here?
Well,
And that's your last question, because they did a kick poll. You wouldn't have been created?
You wouldn't be here without creation.
You wouldn't be here without creation. Okay. So
you wouldn't be here,
but why did God create us here and not in heaven?
because your mother and father created you.
Okay. So why couldn't my mother and father create me in heaven?
Because I don't believe people are fornicating with each other in heaven.
They're not fornicating with each other.
Are people having sex in heaven? Are there fleshly desires in heaven? Are there
Okay.
humanistic desires?
Okay. So
Doesn't
they
make any
can't.
sense.
Okay. So what do you do in heaven?
You, I don't know. It's a great question. Who knows what they do?
Okay. So then, so
They're
if
hanging
you,
out.
so if you don't know what they do in heaven, how do you know that they're not having sex in heaven?
When you die and your spiritual essence lives on, do you have a human body?
I
that
don't
you're
believe in a
connected to?
spirit. So I don't, yeah, I don't believe in a spirit. So I
Right.
can't answer that question.
Well, I'm
I
just
have no
saying,
idea.
if you hypothetically believed in a spirit,
I don't believe in a spirit. So
if you hypothetically
if I
believed in a
hypothetically, well,
spirit,
what is even,
would that
you'd have,
spirit be attached to a human body
you would first have to define
in
what
the
a spirit
afterlife?
is. What is a spirit? What is it made out of?
Yeah.
Yeah. What constitutes a spirit?
What constitutes a spirit is your soul,
My soul. What is that?
your consciousness, your being.
My consciousness?
What causes all of this living, or all of this chemicals and all the matter and material that compiles your body into a living creature. I think that's what
What
the soul
compiles our
is.
body? The soul is what compiles our body into a living creature.
Yeah, like you're not living if you don't have a soul.
You're not living if
Obviously.
you don't have a soul. And what evidence do you have of that?
Uh,
Like like, do you have a study? Do you have verification? What do you have?
yeah, like even atheists say this. I mean, that's the whole point of
Well,
abiogenesis.
some do. What I'm asking you is, well, where is soul? Like you said, abiogenesis. So there's a research paper that abiogenesis says that we have
Well,
souls.
what is abiogenesis? It's the
Ab-
non-living matter
abiogenesis. Yeah.
forming life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what paper
what
can
is
you point
life?
to? Okay.
It's a bunch of
I'm asking
material
you.
and matter and chemicals.
Okay. So what paper can you point to that demonstrates that we have a soul? Because you said that that's what science says. So where does it say in science?
I think if you're looking for direct evidence of a soul, then you should research the most accomplished neurosurgeon in the world.
All right.
And he's done a lot of studies on people that are missing 95% of their brain matter, but still have an IQ above the aggregate of the
How does that
populace.
demonstrate a soul? That's what I'm asking you.
Because we don't know where the consciousness derives from.
Okay, so we don't know where the consciousness derives from, so therefore we have a soul.
Right. And we know from
All right.
thermodynamics that energy neither is created nor destroyed within this enclosed system. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And how do you know it's an enclosed system? What evidence do you have of that?
The Big
And
Bang,
which system are you talking about?
the universe.
The universe? Okay. And so what paper can you point to that demonstrates that it is a closed system? What astrophysicists say that? Just name
Yeah, I mean, 95% of them.
95%? Okay, show me a paper
this
that
universe to the Big Bang.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I asked you what
you did.
No, I asked you what
Do you think there's
I
a
said
universe existing outside of this universe?
Listen up.
Is that what you're
Listen
saying?
up. I asked you what paper demonstrates that this is a closed system. What
Okay.
scientific paper? Peer reviewed.
Let me get this straight. Do you believe the universe is infinite?
Okay, I asked you a question. What
Yeah.
paper demonstrates, peer-reviewed paper demonstrates that this is a closed system?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. So where did you get the 95?
Can you recite papers off the top of your head?
Where
like
did you
that?
get the 95% that says this is a closed system?
I'm giving a random number because majority of scientists attribute this universe to rapidly expanding from a hot, dense state that was smaller than the head of a needle. And that would be the formation of this universe, time, matter, and space.
Okay.
You know,
Kick pull is
so-
on, everybody. Just FYI. I saw the early kick pull. All right.
Yes, I believe in science and God, obviously.
Okay,
Science
so-
is the way to describe God's creation.
Okay. So again,
Perfectly logical.
no, you can just go Google it. Just go find
what?
find a peer review
What am I
paper
supposed to Google?
that the universe is a closed system.
We wouldn't call it a universe if it was an open system.
Then demonstrate that. It's your burden of proof. You
All right,
you made
I'll
the claim.
demonstrate. I'll Google it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got voted off, so you can present your links in the chat. All right.
I
Thanks.
got voted off.
Yep.
You
Thanks
don't
for
want to
coming
hear
up.
the proof?
Yeah, you can just present the link. You can put the links in the chat. I'll be watching. So thanks for coming up. Appreciate you. So bad news is that physicists are agnostic to whether this is an open or closed system. So and science does not prove God. All right. Let's see. What was it on the... Ooh, we could do like comparisons. 89%. Wow. 89% on the 89% on the YouTube side. Oof. It was like 27-6 on the TikTok side. So see, and it'll be awesome too when TikTok and when YouTube can see TikTok's votes, and because now TikTok can see YouTube's votes. So you just have to trust me on what I'm saying. I voted no. Oh, jeez. Pikachu, you went to both sides? That's hilarious. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Okay. So, all right, I got to go to my list, and I'm with Dr. Joe. I need to get off of 2 Samuel for a while. It is undefeated. It's a very good go-to. It's a nice bread and butter one, but yeah, I need to find out some. I'm going to pull up some more traps because oh, there we go. Here's one I haven't used in a long time. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a good one. Ooh, there we go. All right, I got a good one. There we go. Okay, got a good trap. All right, let's bring up our next guest. Okay, so if you're waiting in my queue, please be at least 18. That's a TikTok terms of service thing. Please also be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And also, please have evidence ready that your God is just. All right, let's bring up Breaking Down Christ. This should be fun.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Fantastic. All right. And are you driving right now? All right. Can't be driving. So pull over and come back into the queue. Cannot drive and live. All right. Let's bring up Michael. Service internal error. Let's try it again. There we go.
So I came off for driving. I'm driving also, man.
Okay. All right. So pull over and then request back up. So, all right. So yeah, cannot be driving and living. All right. So Whitey came through, brought a, you brought a peer-reviewed paper. So let's go take a look. Although I'm wondering if that is something else. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the evidence here. Let's see. All right. New window. And okay, so bear with me a sec, chat. I gotta move this window around a little bit, and then I gotta make it look good. So thermodynamics of FRW universe with Chappie-Glynn gas model. So in this paper, we've examined the validity of the generalized second law of thermodynamics in expanding Friedman-Robinson-Walker universe filled with different variants of Chappie-Glynn gases. assuming that the universe is a closed system bounded by the cosmological horizon, we first present the general description. So very good. Yeah, it's a peer-reviewed paper. So we also have peer-reviewed papers that the universe is an open system. So it is, we also have that. So I'll bring up one, and that's something you can read. That's definitely something that is not settled science. Let's see. Papers that the universe is an open system. Yeah, there we go. Universe is a closed or open system. And quantum mechanics holds that the universe is an open system. Oh, is this a... Let's see. No, that's a religious paper. So we want a scientific paper. Okay. Yeah, I read something about it about quantum mechanics, so still looking. Give me a second. Even Dr. Blitz says it's not settled. So Dr. Blitz says that, and still looking for the paper that I read. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, I might have been mistaken. Maybe it's not. It might not be for specifically for, oh yeah, Hartle Hawking. But that's a closed, so that's not it. Okay. Oh yeah, if you look at the many worlds interpretation, yeah, many worlds or multiverses. There we go. So if you look at those different theories, those different interpretations, that's what it is. I don't remember how this is relevant. Yeah, it really wasn't relevant. It was about souls being real, something like that. So, all right, let's move on to somebody else. So, all right, so if you're in my guest queue, please do not be driving. Please be at least 18. Please also believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and also have evidence that God is just. So, let's go to JT. How's it going?
Going great, Trust. I am 45. I'm also an atheist. I was just
Yeah.
saying that paper that he wrote, it says that it's an assumption that it's a closed system.
It's assuming,
in
yeah.
the synopsis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not evidentiary at all.
Yeah. You're right. And like I said, if you look at like the many worlds interpretation or like multiverses, bubble verses, stuff like that, open system. So.
All right, I'll jump off. Just
All
wanted
right.
to put that out.
Appreciate you, man.
Well,
Thanks for the heads up. Thanks, JT. Yeah. So if you do, but all I'm saying is that it's not settled science. So yes, there are lots of models that assume a closed system or that assert a closed system, and there are lots of models that assert an open system, but it's not settled science. How's it going, Michael? And
Hey,
you
Justin, what's going on,
misunderstand
man?
what theory is, breaking down Christ. Hey, thanks for waiting. How old are you?
Oh, no problem. 29.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ, God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
Okay. And what is your best evidence that God is just?
Well, the best one that I have is that, well, first I just want to make sure that we get this clear is that where you're going to get your facts from is going to be different than mine. Mine is going to be biblical, from the Bible and things like that. So that and when you're believing in when you're believing in Christ and stuff like that, it's based on faith. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Okay.
And faith isn't very logical. So
Okay.
when
All
you're
right. That's
when
fair.
you're believing in Christ and stuff, it's your own belief.
All right. Now I'm going to get some of mine from the Bible too. Is that okay?
Okay. Yep, that's
fantastic.
fine.
Okay. What's your
So what I want to
what do
get
you got?
into is I'm going to go into 3 different parts here. The beginning, when we were cast out of heaven because of Adam and Eve's sins, that was our. So pretty much, you want to think of this as a judge that had to be judged, and we were the I guess you could say the defense team on that, and this was our sentence was on earth. So that's where the suffering comes from. But even in our defense, and when this happened, we were given forgiveness, even though it took years and years and years and years and years for that to happen, because he gave us the opportunity, he gave us the law to abide by, that we just could not, atone for it, mainly because of sin and mainly because of even this deceit that's going on today in the world with Satan and different things like that.
Okay.
So he gave us Jesus Christ, and that's where I believe the just comes in. Even for us being as sinful as we are, he still gave us forgiveness through him coming down and being Jesus Christ and taking the atonement of our sins, which all sin in the Bible is, as we all know, DEATH. I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's banned or anything on TikTok. So that is the price for sin is DEATH.
Okay.
From my belief.
Okay.
So the just comes from him being nailed to the cross and taking that sin for us. But the just still comes in that we still have to abide by those and believing in Jesus Christ and having him to come do a change in us in order for us to live in his way. So Jesus basically became the bridge between the Father and his creation. So that's kind of where I go with God having justice.
Okay. So I'll roll with what you said. So if I heard you right, you're saying that because we were cast out of the garden, well, really Adam and Eve, like you and I weren't cast out of the garden, but Adam and Eve were cast out of the garden.
We're
all descendants. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And so the descendants of Adam and Eve, which is us, since Adam and Eve screwed up and were cast out of the garden, the descendants, we're the ones that are taking the punishment for this. And so
correct, because that allowed sin into us.
That allowed sin. And so in order to do so what God did as a measure is to send his son Jesus to die for our sins.
And that's the justice.
And that's the justice part. Okay. All right. So I can look at this from a couple different angles. So thanks for explaining that. So
no problem.
Let's see. Under what moral principle justifies punishing an innocent person for another person's crimes?
That was the moral. Well, there really isn't. Okay, so Like I said, I've got to study up on this, my man.
Like for example, while you're thinking, but an example. So if a judge says, you know, there's a person who's committed murder, unalivement,
Correct.
and they said, okay, I'm going to sentence you to life in prison without parole, and then an innocent person stands up and says, you know what, Your Honor, I will serve the sentence for this person. So send me to prison. Is that just? And the judge accepts it. And the judge accepts it.
Well, that's where it comes in. And I guess you could look at it, if you want to look at it that way, you could kind of see it as a commuted sentence. You know, our sentence for sin is, like I said, DEATH. That is our punishment. That's what we deserve. So as Christians, when you come to Christ, that's what you understand yourself to be. You have to sacrifice yourself. That means laying down your life, becoming selfless and not selfish or anything like that, and living for the will of the Father. So when you do that, that's the price that Jesus paid. Before we could do that, we would have had to live the life of Jesus Christ. We would have had to live a perfect life. That's why God came down as Jesus, lived the perfect life for a sin that we could not accomplish.
Okay.
So that's why he came down and did what he did to save us from our sins, because he has a creation with us. So he wants that connection with us. So that's the reason why he did what he did.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, to have a connection with us, he sent Jesus, who was innocent,
his only son,
to die for our sins. So,
yes.
And you agree, Jesus is innocent, right?
Yes.
Free of
lived
sin.
a perfect life.
Okay. And
we as humans are the ones who killed him, not God.
Got it. So
we as humans did that.
Did God know that if he sent Jesus down that he would be unalived?
Not completely, no. Because God
didn't know that?
Also, God's an omnipotent God, and there's many different. You think of you've got to also believe that God is an all-knowing God. His way is higher than our thinking, so there are infinite numbers of because he gives us free will. So there are infinite ways that this could have played out. Many different timelines that it could have happened.
So when hold on, when God sent down Jesus,
yes.
you're saying to me that God did not know whether or not Jesus was going to be crucified.
Well, yes, he did know.
He did know.
Also, yes.
Okay, that's what I asked you in the beginning. Did God know that
but
if he sent Jesus down, that he was going to be unalived?
The free will of man. God can't interfere with the free will of man.
All right.
So, say if there was someone that stood up, say,
I didn't ask that, but okay.
Well, we're looking at theories here. So, if there was, say, who was it? Nero at that time of Rome. If he had stepped in and said, "No, we're not going to sacrifice this man," God could not interfere with that free will of man.
Okay. Did God know for all eternity that at some point he was going to send Jesus down to be crucified?
Yes.
He knew all for eternity, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He knows the beginning and the end.
Okay. So since man had free will, could man have decided at the very last possible second not to crucify Jesus?
Absolutely.
They could have.
Absolutely. And we would be living in a completely different world right now.
Okay. So what you're saying then.
Of course we didn't.
Okay. So, but you're saying though that God already knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
Okay, and it did happen, but you're saying that we could have decided at the very last possible moment that and would God's eternal knowledge
still
apply? Okay. So if does God have perfect knowledge?
Yes.
He does? Okay. How does God Okay, so then how would we be able to change our minds if God has perfect knowledge?
Because of free will, he can't interfere with free will.
I understand.
Knowledge and free will are completely two different things.
I hear that. What I'm saying, though, is if God knows perfectly that humans were going to crucify Jesus, and God knew this for all of eternity, then how could we have changed our minds at the last hour and God still be correct that Jesus was going, and God knowing eternally that Jesus was going to be crucified?
Because that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's the power of the free will of mankind. God can't interfere with that.
Okay.
If man would have decided to let Jesus live, then still God would have, it would have still been in his control,
So then
no
that,
matter what.
okay, so if men change their minds, that means God eternally would have known that he wasn't going to be crucified.
Yes, and that would be the timeline that we'll be living in right now, but that's not the timeline
Okay.
that we're living in.
So this is totally mine. It doesn't make sense at all, because so what you're saying then is that even though God eternally knew that Jesus was going to be crucified, that we still could make a choice. So here, let me kind of draw a parallel here. So if I'm going to eat a cookie tomorrow at 3:00, does God eternally know that at tomorrow at 3 I'm going to eat a cookie?
Well, you don't know that you're going to be eating a cookie
I didn't
tomorrow
ask
at
that.
3 o'clock.
I asked if God knows
Yes,
tomorrow,
God knows.
and
He does know that.
and he knows that for all eternity.
Yes, and you happen to eat that cookie at 2:59. Yes,
Okay.
he knows that as well.
Could I decide to eat a donut at 3:00 tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. How?
Because of the free will,
Okay.
man. It's
How is that? And so how is God's knowledge perfect then if I could decide to eat a donut tomorrow at 3?
That's what I mean. He's taking in information that we can't even profoundly come close to understanding.
Okay.
Millions and millions of people that live out here in this world and different timelines that coincide side by side. He's an all-knowing God that knows way more than we can ever
Sure.
fathom.
Okay. So God perfectly knows only one outcome is
So-
going to happen. Right?
So it
And that
is
outcome
almost
is that tomorrow at 3, I'm going to eat a cookie. All right. So you're saying that even though God knows perfectly that there's only going to be one outcome tomorrow at 3, which is me eating a cookie, I can decide at 3:00 tomorrow to eat a donut instead.
if your free will matches up with it, yes.
If my but my free will doesn't match up with it, because I just said
that does.
I just
'Cause
said
that's-
I'm going to
that's
be eating.
doctrine.
Okay, but okay, it may be
We
doctrine.
have to,
It
but
doesn't
we
make
have
sense.
to keep it.
I'm asking you to make it make
I'm
sense.
Not, I can't make it make sense, my man.
Okay, well
half
then-
half of the stuff in the Bible is by faith. It's not logic. That's what I was telling you at
by
first.
faith,
It's
but
by faith.
okay. How does faith
but
make things logical and true?
It doesn't, my man.
It doesn't?
That's what
Okay.
having faith, and you want Christians on here, then you have to believe in the Christian way that it is by faith that we walk.
Okay.
Knowing that God is above us and his way of thinking is, and that we are trying to align our will with his will,
Okay.
not the other way around.
I
We're not
gotcha.
trying to make his will our will.
Okay. So all religions use faith. So it means all religions are true.
No, because there's
Okay.
only one religion where God is still alive,
And
and
how do
he
you-
was resurrected from the grave.
Okay.
And that's documented thoroughly. There's a man named Jesus that was in Roman text. There
Mhm.
was a man named Jesus crucified,
Mhm.
and there is textual evidence that he rose from the grave.
Okay. So Muslims believe Allah spoke directly to God, got revelation from God, and they know that by faith. But they know that by
their
faith.
belief.
Yeah,
But
that's
he
their
died.
belief. Okay, but
He
they know that.
died.
The point is, they know that by faith. So what I'm asking you is, how do you determine that Allah and Muhammad did not talk to each other? How did you determine that?
I wouldn't know that because that's not the faith that I believe in.
Okay.
So
Okay, so how do you know it's not true?
because there's only one. There's no proof of it.
Okay.
To show me the proof
Right. And
that he existed.
So it's not the proof of he existed. I'm asking if there's no proof that Allah and Muhammad talked, you're saying then that it didn't happen.
I'm saying that there's no irrefutable proof of it, and then just the
Okay.
same thing as the Bible. If the Quran was matching up with what the Bible is saying right now, with prophecies and stuff that are coming true right now, there's no other book that has ever been written of the 66 books of the Bible. There's no other book that has ever been tied to prophecies, has never been a book that has been tied to history, that has overlapped as much as the Bible
Okay.
has, because there's
Okay.
actual proof of these things.
Okay. So what irrefutable proof do you have that Jesus resurrected from the dead?
Actual Roman accounts. If you go back there,
Actual
the
Roman
soldiers that was
accounts?
guarding-
Which
if
ones?
you go, yes,
Name one.
scriptures, just
Roman accounts. Yeah, which ones? Independent of the Bible, which ones?
just give me a moment.
Mhm.
Or
And
actually, I
just
think I know this.
yeah, and just to be clear,
uh,
not that Jesus lived. I'm asking Jesus resurrected, rose from the dead.
Well, there was a whole investigation in on it during this whole time with Roman soldiers asking. I mean, why were the disciples being killed themselves? Because they was asking the disciples,
Okay.
"Where's his body?
What?
Where's his
Okay.
body?"
All right. And so you're saying because the disciples were all unalived, that demonstrates that Jesus resurrected from the dead?
Well, I don't think anybody would die for anything that wasn't true.
Okay.
But
Okay. So what evidence? Okay. So now this brings up another question. What evidence do we have that the apostles existed, independent of the Bible?
accounts in Roman texts.
In Roman texts, which ones? Yeah.
Okay, so you got so I had to Google it. So so you got Pliny the Younger from 61 to 113.
Yep.
In letters to Emperor Trajan, Pliny
Mhm.
describes Christians worshiping Christ as a god and singing hymns to him, showing the widespread faith of divine divinity and presence which stemmed from the resurrection.
Right. That's Christians. That's Christians worshiping Christ. What I'm asking you though is, Michael, is where, like, for example, the apostle Andrew. What evidence do we have that Andrew existed? Who mentioned Andrew?
Those would be in text from where he traveled to. Andrew traveled. Where'd he travel to?
Which text is that?
I don't know where Andrew traveled. I believe east to the Middle East.
Yeah. What independent Bible account demonstrates that Andrew traveled east and was martyred?
Okay, Andrew actually went to Rome.
Okay. And which Roman, what Romans verified that he went to Rome? Who accounted for that?
Well, there's proof of relics and stuff being there that Andrew was there.
Proof of relics?
Relics of Andrew.
Relics
if you
of
think
Andrew.
about it, tradition is found in the
Like
Church
contemporary
of
relics?
Byzantine,
Yeah. What?
Constantinople, and his bones were brought to Rome, which is after Nero had converted the Roman from paganism into Christianity, or a mixture.
Okay, well, that wasn't Nero. That was Constantine, and Constantine lived 300 years later. So that was hundreds of years later. So I'm asking a contemporary account of Andrew going to Rome. What contemporary account do we have?
The Church of Byzantium.
That would be 300 and something years later.
Istanbul.
So what I'm asking you is, that's no, not Istanbul. That's in Turkey. So I'm asking about Rome.
That's modern Istanbul, the Church of
modern day Turkey. That's Byzantium.
Yes.
Right. Correct. So what I'm asking you, Michael, is you said that Andrew went to Rome, and so I'm asking you what contemporary independent source verifies that Andrew went to Rome. So contemporary means at the time he was alive, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But most of the time you're not going to hear stories. I mean, even with the story of the Bible, you didn't hear anything come out of it until the days of Constantine, when everything was actually every part of the empire came together, and that's when you got all the stories in the 66 books and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So there's not going to be really a lot of proof, because back then,
Okay.
just record keeping and stuff like that just wasn't all that great.
Okay. So so then if that's the case, how come we have records of Pontius Pilate existing? Because that's exactly the same. That's exactly the same time.
Because Pontius Pilate was a Roman, that was the empire they was living in. So therefore,
Right.
he has more of importance.
Right.
And
He
even
has more
Pilate,
importance.
and I believe Pilate, was, there's actually a Roman soldier that there are accounts with him in having Jesus come and heal one of his children that was sick and dying.
Independent
if I
account.
remember.
Because that's in the
But
Bible, right? Well, there's something like that in the Bible. The centurion and the slave, but
and Pilate was the one that was there in Rome, correct? That was in
no,
Jerusalem.
he was in Judea.
Who
He
was
was the
who was the
he
one
was the
in
prefect of Judea, and we have records of that. We also
right?
have a
And there is
tablet
text in that
or
where
something
he
like that.
talks about Jesus Christ.
Correct. So that's how we
Correct.
know, and we have independent contemporary accounts of Pontius Pilate existing. That's how we know Pontius Pilate existed. So what I'm
Okay.
asking you though is,
And
what
it'll
do
be in
we?
those same accounts
Right.
with Pontius Pilate, with those same accounts
Well,
of
you
about Jesus Christ being his body being stolen from the tomb.
gotcha. Well, you said that you said that there weren't record keeping at the time, and I gave you an instance where there is record keeping. So there was some record keeping. So that's why I'm asking you, how come we don't have any record keeping of any of these 12 apostles if they were that influential? We don't have anything from, from like Jewish court documents, Jewish
And there
papers.
is, I
We
would
don't
I would
have
have
anything.
I would have to take time to actually look these up and
Okay.
actually do it, but I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah.
Um,
You pretty sure there is? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, if maybe you find something I don't, because I've looked and there's nothing. We don't have any evidence that any of these apostles existed. What we have is we do have Pliny the Younger, and we have
Yeah, well,
Josephus mentioning Peter and James, the brother of Jesus. That's it. But it's a
correct. And
mention,
that's
and
that's
it's
when the Romans were starting to get involved
and it's
with it, 'cause most
many,
of it was
we're
just the
talking 40, 50,
Pharisees.
60, 70 years later. What I'm
Right.
asking though is, what do we have contemporary that
Well, you have to
demonstrates that
think
these
with
people existed?
Romans, with the Rome, you have to also understand history as well. With Romans, with the business that Jesus was doing was mainly a Jerusalem issue, and Romans tried not to get into local disputes unless the Pharisees came to them, which later on the Pharisees, once they
This
built
is
up
true.
enough evidence
Yeah.
and did that, then that's when the Romans got involved. So therefore there really wouldn't be any accounts in Roman records. You would then have to look into maybe Pharisees, but even at that time, Pharisees would have probably even tried to hide it, being that it just of the uproar that it brought.
The only
So it's
thing
going
we
to be very,
really,
it's going to be very hard to find actual accounts of these things, except for the people who actually wrote them,
the only
which
thing we
comes up
really
with the
have is the
66
Talmud
books.
from the Pharisees. That was many, many years later, in
Correct.
which Jesus was mentioned in there, and they were dogging on Jesus. So it was equivalent. The Talmud was
Right.
equivalent to like Reddit of today, right? So, but they mentioned Jesus in
Yeah,
there, and
yeah.
they were talking smack about Jesus in there. So that's really all we have from the
Right.
Pharisees about Jesus. So we don't have any. We don't have. That's the only record that we have of Jesus. It's like that was done many, many decades later. We have mentioned by Josephus about Jesus many, many decades later. We have no mention. We have two very brief mentions of Peter and James, the son of Jesus, by these folks in a theological context, not a historical context. But we don't have any information about any of the other 10 apostles, so we have no idea whether or not they existed.
Right. And the only
Absolutely,
evidence that we have
absolutely
is
none.
just in the Bible, where it's
Just in the
personal
Bible,
accounts of them writing it down, because
which
most
we
of
have
it's
no way
just
to
Matthew
verify,
writing
right?
stuff down.
Yeah, which we have no way to
Right.
verify, right? So we have no way to verify it, so we
Well,
don't even
that's
know it's true. And you're saying that's more true than the Quran.
well, that's what I believe. But
That's what you
I mean,
believe,
it's
but and Islam,
it's written.
yeah,
It was
Muslims
written
believe
at
that the
that time,
Quran is more
and it
true than the
talked about
Bible.
that person in that. So
Yeah, yeah, and so, but my point is that Muslims believe that the Quran is more true than the Bible. Hindus believe that the Bhagavad Gita is more true than the Bible,
yes, and
right?
that's their belief, and
Buddha,
that's what
yeah,
God gives them free to do.
yeah,
That's free will
okay.
again, and that's what
So
our God allows. If that's what
again,
you want to believe in,
wonderful.
that's
I hear what you're saying, Michael. What I'm asking you though is, how do you know that what you believe is true versus what these guys? Because you would say that
well,
what they don't believe is not true. What they believe is not true, right?
well, it would come from personal experiences. It would come from just being and studying the Bible as much as I have and seeing the
Mm-hmm.
truths in it. And like I said before, just with the history and the theory of everything that science is actually starting to back up what the Bible has. And just in the conversation that you had with the guy before me, when y'all was getting the discussion of the Big Bang Theory, it goes back to saying that which I'm not 100% sure about this, so don't quote me completely on this,
Mm-hmm.
but that our skin and stuff is made from particles of different
Okay, Pulse starring
aspects
everybody.
of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you would have to agree that was some type of creation, a creator to be able to do that, some type of entity, some type of deity to be able to do that, and then to breathe the very life in you. That's where he was getting messed up on, was God would breathe his life into us, and that's what made us.
Okay. So these are
That's
like
the soul
claim after
and stuff
claim after
where he
claim after
was.
claim after 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 claim. So we've got
Yes,
claims
but
on stack about
they
claims.
do match up. They
Well,
do
the claims
match
match
though,
up.
with science.
The claims match up with science. What I'm saying to you though is, where's the evidence that ties the claims to science? Where is the evidence?
Well, I mean, look at us. I mean, look at where the Earth is and how small we are in the speck of the universe, and
All
how
of
we have
which
not
can be
found
explained by science.
and have not found life anywhere else. I mean, you have to think that someone quite remarkable had to create something like this.
Why did God build this entire universe then just for us?
I have no idea, my man.
Okay.
I hope when
So-
I hope when the time comes, I get that answer.
All right. Well, all right. Well, hey,
I don't know.
Michael, I appreciate it. But
No
chat
problem,
did,
man.
yeah, they did decide to move on to the next guest. But hey, I appreciate you
Yes,
coming
sir.
on. All right.
No problem.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Take care. All right. So it was just faith. It was all faith, which is fine. I mean, that's how you want to base it on. It's just that you can't differentiate between faith in your religion, faith in any other religion. That makes every religion true. So YouTube is nothing if not consistent. Consistently 89%. Consistently. Stop telling me what I have to believe. Yeah. Next, it will be the building needs a builder. Yeah. So. Okay. All right. So that was interesting, but hey, at least it was respectful. My morality is objective, but I am a outlier amongst atheists. Although the interesting thing is that if you look at other like philosophical like points of view, it's like decidedly objective. It's interesting. Hey, Cyber Deconstruction, how are you, my friend?
I am doing good, and I wish more atheists would take an objective morality standpoint and quit conceding that to Christians. But no, so yeah, the idea with Islam though, I think it's something that's important to bring up is that like, so their issue is that the Bible is corrupted. And by time the Quran is written, by time Muhammad exists, we actually see changes in the Bible. For example, in Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Vaticanus, Papyrus 66, all these early manuscripts, we don't have the long ending for Mark. And we don't have the adulterous woman who is getting stoned. Let he who hath no sin cast the first stone. Those stories aren't found in there. And it's not like it's illegible or it's just not
It's
in
just
there.
not there. It's missing.
Yeah.
It's totally
and so
fucking missing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in Islam, when they say that they believe that the New Testament has been corrupted, well, they can look and they can see how these stories have been added in 400. The first codex that has these changes in it, amongst others, is Codex Bezae in 400. And so yeah, and the story of the adulterous woman, we know where it comes from. It comes from a book called Didascalia Apostolorum. It's another text, so we know where it came from.
Okay.
And so the Quran actually has some evidence to support why you ought not be Christian. They can show the corruption in the text.
Hey, that reminds me, Cyber, should we condemn everyone to Muslim hell? I haven't done that in a while.
No, all believers need to go to atheismo hell.
Atheismo hell. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You got it. You got it, my friend. No, I appreciate you clearing that up. I kind of like this format, like where I give like folks like you just an opportunity just to explain stuff out without getting interrupted. I really kind of like that because it just kind of sets everything straight. But
yeah, and I think that's just really important. Like Muslims have an excuse and they can point to the text and say, look, your Bible's corrupt.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm going to hop on down, but thanks for bringing me up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Much love. Yeah. And so, yeah, great point. Great point. Because we see that there was stuff added later to the Gospels, to the New Testament. We can see that. The stylometry analysis, which if you haven't picked up a copy of Christ Before Jesus, you should. A great book. So I'm almost done with it. Great book. And I was okay with Jesus existing. And I'm still not it's not really a hill for me to die on, honestly, but I'm a lot more on the fence about Jesus existing. But it doesn't affect the argument at all. I can blow right past it. Yeah, I'm ambivalent too. I'm decidedly on the fence. Full on the fence. And I have Christ Before Jesus to thank for that. So my morals, I think it's better, Jose, if you join my Discord. The link is in my profile, and you can go to the philosophy chat, and I have pinned my entire worldview there. And so you can, and I have done extensive writing on my morality, on what objective morality is. Yeah. And then you can go in there, and people have picked it apart and all that stuff. So you can go read through it. It'll take you a few hours, maybe if not a few days. And you can read all through it. I explain it in detail. So I don't want to take the time in a live chat because it will just put people to sleep. So yeah. All right. So we have another guest, and I might end it too. All right. How's it going?
I'm all right, man.
All right.
Can I just ask a question? That's it. I am 18. I'm young though. I'm about to turn 19.
Okay. Yeah. You just have a quick question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not atheist personally, but I just want to know why you're atheist.
Because there's just not enough evidence to demonstrate that any gods exist. That's it.
And one more question, if you don't mind.
No.
So are you 100% there's no way, or is there any chance that you could see that there was a creator?
Depends on the god. If it's
Okay.
the Abrahamic gods, I'm about as close to 100% as you can get, 99 point, and as many nines as you can put. Now I'm a pragmatic fallibilist, so I go by what we know is true, and it could be subject to revision, right? So I don't think I'll ever put 100% certainty on something. As far as other gods, I'd say there is a slightly higher chance that maybe one of these gods exists. For example, if it's a god that say doesn't have omniscience, doesn't, it just has the ability to create but doesn't know what it's doing, it just doesn't have foreknowledge, maybe, but that's all unlimited possibilities. So it just depends.
Oh, okay, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Can you remove me now?
Yep. I got you,
Thank
man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. So I think at this point, thank you all for the heart me's and whatnot. I appreciate that. I think at this point, it's getting close to wrapping things up. So I'm just going to bring up my mods, and we can have a nice little powwow and all that stuff. How you guys doing? So good to see you guys. Doing well. I'm doing well. And don't tell me, Ember, are we still having that whole coming up here on the, is it still an issue? There we go. Let's see if we can bring you up. And I thought I saw Sunny in here earlier, but she might have gone somewhere else. But there we go. Accept. Okay. Let's see if we can get Ember. Hey, it worked. All right.
Yay!
It worked. All right. Good deal. Good deal. I think I got to knock on wood. There we go. Oh, here's another one. Here's Philly Red. Philly Red's just kind of hanging out.
Secular's perspective is live. We should
Yes, we're going to raid
Um,
Secular Perspective. Thank you. Yes,
Amazing.
we are. And Ancient Warrior, thank you for getting a membership. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a supporter. Really, really
Ooh,
appreciate it.
actually, I'm going to say this because this was a conversation that we just had last night. Everyone who wants to support Trust by subscribing or anything, the TikTok one is $9.99. There are there's a few levels of subscription on YouTube, so you can do a cheaper one that's like $3.99. And then, or you can do a $9.99 one, or there's another level that's more than that. But Trust gets since he wants to go full time in June, he gets a larger portion. He gets a larger portion of the YouTube subscriptions than he does from TikTok. So if you're thinking about subscribing, I would suggest and you want to support him in the best possible way, I would say do the YouTube subscription.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and the $3.99 one is, like I said, is like to keep the lights on and all that stuff. And, and that's in lieu of like giving gifts and all that stuff. So you don't have to, so if you just want to do like a $3.99 and don't give gifts, that is perfect. That's fine. Perfectly fine. But of course, not obligated in any way, shape, or form. So that's why I hardly
Also,
mention it.
I will say another free thing you can do, Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you have one like Prime subscription you can do per month. And so if you aren't using that subscription, if you want to go over to his Twitch and just do a free, Prime thing, that helps boost his channel as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great point too. Yeah. So that's a great way to do it. So but you know what? Just being here is awesome. So just the fact that you're here and just hanging out, supporting the whole thing is just great. I appreciate that all the way around. So, so we're just trying to build this thing, and, I'd love to go full time by the end of June, 1st of July. And, that would be super helpful. So anyway, we can do it. That'd be great. So how was your time at the museum? It looked like you were having a blast.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had so much fun. We went to a coffee place first and hung out, and then we were really close to the museum. We were like
Right
only a
on.
couple of miles away, and so she just asked if I wanted to go to the museum, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So neither of us had been there since we deconstructed, and so it was really fun just to go through all the
That's
exhibits
awesome.
and be like, oh yeah, we actually know that this is fact. This is scientific fact. All of these
Right?
things. We don't have to think that, they're lying to us for some nefarious reason. I went there with my youth group one time, and, the youth pastor was always talking, against the different things in the
Oh, of course.
evolution area. And I remember one girl in my youth group, we were looking at this dinosaur bone, and it said it was like 93 million years old or something. And she was like, wow, this is 93 million years old. And I said, no, it's not. I said no.
Indoctrinated.
They're lying. And she was like, why would they lie? And I was like, they don't know Jesus. God damn it.
They
I
don't
was
know
such an
Jesus.
insufferable Christian.
Wow, that's
I'm an insufferable atheist too.
that's
It's fine.
funny. That is funny. That is funny. Well, we want you on our team. We much prefer you on
Thank
our
you.
team.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be insufferable for the other side.
Oh, that's great. Well, everyone give W's to Forever Atheists and Ethereal Ember for especially Ethereal Ember for them being insufferable atheists. That's what we love. And follows, and if you can, if you got a little bit of spare change for roses, please do that as well. I don't think there were any mods in YouTube today, but that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But my YouTube mods are Blaster Master 80, Rainbow Ash, and Marduk. And so we do a shout out to them in general as well for all the hard work that they do. So I just really appreciate you guys. You guys, keep the peace, you keep things going. And I really, really appreciate that. I'm just very happy that you helped me out with that. I'm very, very happy about that. So thank you. But we got like 6 minutes left. So any other friends want to come up and just shoot the shit for a minute? You're welcome to. Because yeah, we just have a little bit of time. So you're more than welcome to. Oh, here we go. Floodgates open. Okay, we have Marjorie. So Marjorie, friend? Or hi
Yes.
Marjorie. You're a friend. All right. Hi.
1000% a friendly.
Okay, fantastic. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet
Yes,
you.
nice to meet you. I think we've spoken a couple times.
Have we?
Mostly
Okay.
in the chats, yeah.
Okay,
I think
okay.
I've been up once. I brought up the thing about the Nephilims.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Thanks for reminding
Yeah.
me. Yes. Okay. I know who you are now. Good to see you again.
Yeah, every time we think of Nephilims, remember me. No, I'm just kidding.
Nephilim Marjorie. Nephilim Marjorie. Nephilim Marjorie. Okay, got it. Got the link.
Well, hi everyone else. I just had a quick thing. Earlier you were debating with a young fella, and he had an issue with consent.
Mhm.
I don't want to go deep into details with it, but there was one thing that stood out. And you probably didn't get a chance to complete your whole thing with him because he was voted off. But I just wanted to talk about this, and you tell me if I'm
Sure.
wrong with the way I'm thinking about it. But without getting into too much details, the punishment was that he would have to the wives were punished, right?
Yes, for David.
Yeah.
What David
So
did.
that alone lets you know about consent because they're like they were that was a punishment. So if you want to think about if it's a good act or a bad act, just remember that it was a punishment. The act of him of choosing of having the wives, our word, it was a punishment. So no
Mhm.
matter how you look at it, it wasn't a good thing. You know what I mean? There's
Exactly.
like it's a punishment. It's one
Exactly.
of the list of punishments that
Exactly.
that God condones. So
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were gonna go there because he was voted off, but I was just like, wait a minute.
hmm
Yeah, just wanted yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to kind of peel back the whole disconnect with consent because he kept affirming consent in everything except this.
Right.
You can't sell my car without my permission. I affirm consent. I will not, have sexual relations with a drunk woman who's passed out. Okay, we got all those things. You got all that dialed down. But this one, no, it was consensual. Like what? So that's why I was like doing all that. I was like coming up with all these
Oh
different
yeah.
examples just to show how like silly that is. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you. Totally agree with you because you're right. Punishment. That is the
Yeah,
deal.
but like with your
Punishment.
car example, let's say you had an argument with your friend and he sold the car. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you wanted to question if your friend had good intentions or not, just remember that this was an action to something, that he felt that you wronged him,
Yeah,
for. Yeah. So yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Anyways,
right.
yeah, I just
So
was just thinking about that and I was just like, ugh. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
all right. So we're accepting friends up. So I'm always good with meeting new friends. So Red Fury, are you a believer or a non-believer?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Red Fury. Are you a believer or a non-believer?
Friendly.
Friendly. Fantastic. Welcome up. And Albra, the same? Believer, non-believer?
Of course, yes, I am believer.
Okay. All right. We're having non-believers up, but come up another day and we'll talk. All right. And I know Jessica Wright. So I've seen Jessica Wright in the chat. I don't know if we've formally met. So hello, Jessica Wright. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Doing well. Seeing you in the chat. I don't think we've
Yeah.
formally like met and talked directly. So
No, I've
it's my
never been
pleasure.
up.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Happy to have you up. So
yeah.
yeah.
This is a dope live. I enjoy listening to your discourse. So
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
I
For sure.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think it's important to have conversations like this, especially around consent. I think that's like
Yes.
a basic thing. And
You would think, you would hope.
you would hope, but well, if anything, I think the other part is that I feel like I'm alerting people to who you should cover your drinks around. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you see that dude out in the wild, just cover your drink. Just, no
Right.
questions.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I'm just glad for the people who are deconstructing. Because when I deconstructed, it was just like me, myself, and I.
Yeah,
So I'm just like,
same.
oh, all these communities popping up. That's going to be really helpful for
Yes,
people going through this. So
absolutely. I 100% agree. And, so it's like, we just want to make things a little easier. And, and I do have that just reminds me, everybody, I have a Discord where everybody's welcome. However, we do have rules and it is a secular space. So, if you're a believer, you're welcome in and you can calmly discuss things and debate some things. But if you start preaching or if you start getting personal, then yeah, it's not going to be so friendly for you. But otherwise, you can do that. But again, like, non-believers who need a space to deconstruct, who need to work through some things, man, come on in. We got you. So absolutely.
that's dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So absolutely. But, I really appreciate you coming, to the support and all the stuff I see in the chat that you're saying, I see
Yeah.
it here and there. And yeah, you come out with some real good zingers. So I like that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
That's okay. It's okay. It helps. It really helps. And there's been some times where like I've seen what you said and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. And I'll pull that up.
Okay.
Mhm.
Period, Pooh.
So keep on doing it. Yeah. So
Yeah. You do these every day or just mostly every day?
yeah. Like during the week, every day, trying to take like weekends off. Cause I got like this block of time, like at this time of day where I can do
Okay.
this. So yeah, this seems to be like the best time for me. So I'm just going to go with
Dope.
it. Yeah. It
That's
works.
good.
It works. So we'll see.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll be around. I'm trying to get my own channel going, but I'm just trying to
Excellent.
get functioning enough to do it. Because sometimes I get the free states, and I'm like, oh, I want to make a video, but yeah, definitely when I have some free time, definitely want to pop in and see
Absolutely.
what's going on.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
when you're ready, now everybody follow Jessica Wright. So we
Hey.
should be getting 85 follows at minimum. So we're trying to get Jessica Wright to the point where she'll be able to go live. So let's get some follows. Let everybody follow her, and
I
we'll help
appreciate
her
it,
out with that.
guys.
Yeah. So let's get her followed. And okay. So Red Fury, you've been waiting patiently. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks
right.
for coming up and
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah. I listen to the channel whenever I can. You know, usually on the weekends.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You mentioned something about a stylometry, something.
Yeah, it's like this scientific analysis of like text, and yeah. Mhm.
Is there a specific one to look at, or just?
You know what? If you search Christ Before Jesus on YouTube, they actually did an interview where they explained their entire process, and then they did like a demonstration. And so if you look that up, you should be able to find it. That would be like the one I'd point you to.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. YouTube?
Yeah, because they did an interview on YouTube, and then they did like a demonstration of it, like what they did, the process that they used. They explained it all.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. You mentioned it, and then I was trying to remember it. I was driving at the same time. It was off on the side.
I got you.
I can't write it down right now, so I gotta remember it. Try to anyway.
Okay.
I just wanted
If you go back and listen to because this is recorded on YouTube, this live. So if you go back to the last few minutes of today's live, you'll be able to hear it back.
Okay, there we go.
And maybe some folks will help you out on YouTube and just type it out, and then you'll see if you replay the chat, you'll see it too.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to write it down before I gotta go. I'm gonna go home now.
Okay. Well, hey, have a safe drive home.
Yep.
All right. Be well, Red Fury. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. So I think we have one more. Let's see if this is a friendly. Make sure it's a friendly or a believer or non-believer. We'll see. We'll find out. And they're having, okay. They connected. Hi there. Are you a believer or a non-believer?
Believer.
Oh, okay. Well, come back tomorrow because we're at the end of the live and I'm talking to non-believers right now. But come back tomorrow and we'll talk. Okay.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thanks. Okay. All right. Well, yes, you're right. Mask Questions, best mods ever. So thank you all again. So just make sure that if you haven't gifted and followed the mods, please do. And also please be sure to follow Jessica Wright and gift her if you want. You can do that too. I don't think she won't be mad about that, right?
I won't. Y'all hear the kids in the background.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
kids.
Exactly. So yeah, she won't be mad either. So yeah. So do the same for Jessica. So, all right, I'm going to close it up, but thank you all again. This was really fun. And, I enjoyed doing this for all y'all and, guys coming in, hanging out, all that stuff. So thanks again. And we're going to go raid the Secular Perspective. So that's the next one we're going to raid. So just type in Secular Perspective in your search if you haven't followed them. And then just go into the chat and type in TBV raid when you get there. And that's on both YouTube and TikTok. It's on both sides. So it's raid time. So that's the best part, I think. That's the most fun part for me. All right. So I'll see you guys over at the Secular Perspective. And after that, other than that, have a good night and I'll see you all tomorrow. See you guys.
You have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.